What's going on, everybody? John here with you. I'm going to be joined by Cooper Hopkins in a moment. We're going to do the Calgary Flames and the Boston Bruins game today. So let me give you the starting lineups. So Elias Lindholm, Adam Ruzicka, and Tyler Toffoli with Noah Hannafin and Rasmus Anderson. It's Nazem Kadri, Dylan Dubé, Blake Coleman, Nikita Zadorov, and Mackenzie Weegar. Mikhail Backlund, Andrew Mangiapane, Trevor Lewis, and then Kevin Rooney, Milan Lucic, Brett Ritchie. The same fourth line with Dennis Gilbert and Nick DeSimone with Dan Vladar in net. And for the Boston Bruins, it sounds like this: Patrice Bergeron, Brad Marchand with Jake DeBrusk. I believe Matt Grzelcyk and Charlie McAvoy are going to be on the second line with Hampus Lindholm and Connor Clifton. That's what I saw today for the defense, but we'll see how that one goes. David Krejci, Taylor Hall, and David Pastrnak. It's Charlie Quell, Trent Frederick, and Pavel Zacha with Jacob Zorbel and Brandon Carlo, and then Tomo Snosek with Nick Foligno and Craig Smith, with Linus Ullmark in net for the Boston Bruins. So the Boston Bruins are 11-2. The Calgary Flames are 5-5-2. I think they are like 0-4-2 in the last 6 games there for the Flames. So that's got to change. And the Boston Bruins, they are the second best team in the league and behind the Vegas Golden Knights in the West. So there should be a lot of intrigue there as we're going in between the Canadian and American national anthems here. So I'm going to pull up my ESPN box score, and then we will get started with the official game.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, he has finally arrived. Mr. John Ryan Ott is in the broadcast. John, I was so excited for you to join up. I didn't even say anything until the moment I saw your face pop in here on Twitter Spaces. So the anthems are now just complete. John, let me, for the very first time, as I'm used to you hosting these bad boys, let me get you in here as a contributor. So just one moment. I'm going to on the Boston Bruins. Dan Vladar in net for the Flames, so the backup goaltender for Calgary. And, of course, we have some news to talk about. John, I'll let you jump into this. Charlie McAvoy back in the lineup for the Bruins tonight.
Charlie McAvoy is supposed to be one of the best defenders that we have in the league already with 11-2 Boston squad. And then as you talked about with Jonathan Huberdeau, it's Adam Ruzicka on the first line tonight for the Calgary Flames.
Yeah, very interesting developments here. The Flames are moving the opposite direction of the Bruins, who are the best team in the Eastern Conference. Flames, once upon a time, were atop the Western Conference. That's no longer the case. They are basically an even 500 on the season, 5-5-2. We're about to drop the puck here. Flames trying to reverse their fortunes here as Nazem Kadri loses the opening draw on this clean sheet of ice here at the TD Garden. The Boston Bruins moving left to right on your radio dials, and the Flames moving right to left, respectively. Those teams in black and gold, and the Flames in there visiting white with the red shoulder yokes. So once again, here in Boston, Cooper Hopkins, your play-by-play man for now, alongside colorman John Ott. So excited to have you here, John, and thank you for jumping in last minute. I think you were planning on calling the Wings game, but here we are as the Boston Bruins now have possession in the Flames end of the ice. About 30 seconds gone here in the first period as Calgary has a bouncing puck that's collected there by the Bruins near the blue line. There's a shot right on, going to bounce off a body, and then the Bruins can't collect to Vladar's right, and they had a golden chance right there to score in an open net, but the Flames now struggling as they have been for the past 5 or 6 games or so just to get it out of their own end. John, of course, we're just getting into the action here, but a lot of lineup movement for the Flames, a lot of criticism of Daryl Sutter for putting guys like Milan Lucic, who had a good start to the year, but he was on the fourth line, spent some time on the second line. He's now back with the fourth liners for Calgary. But you're right, Adam Ruzicka is in the lineup, a couple young defensemen for the Flames. As Shillington is out, so is Michael Stone. So we'll have plenty to talk about as this game continues, as the Flames deflect the puck in, and it's taken in the trapezoid right there. Flames with possession now in the near circle. Stick handling is Lindholm, but he's dispossessed, and that puck is backhanded out towards center ice. Chasing it down for the Flames is Gilbert. He's wearing number 48. It looks like we're watching training camp right now. That's not a name or number you expect to see in the lineup, but there he is on the third pairing, and that puck is shot by Gilbert, deflected just past the post by Andrew Mangiapane. So no shots on goal, technically, but a couple of scoring chances for each team as about 2 minutes have elapsed here. Mangiapane on the left wing going to take a slapper that leaks toward the blue paint and is covered up. So, John, I'm going to let you jump in for a comment right here. What can the Flames do tonight? Since last season, continuing to this season, the Bruins are 11-0-0 at home in their last 11 games. It's incredible. No losses, no ties.
It's one of those situations, Cooper, where the Flames have had some of these leads, but they've let them slip away with some careless mistakes we've watched over the last few. So they got to clean that up against Boston. No room for it.
Yeah, absolutely true. And the Flames now have a nice opportunity for an offensive zone draw. It's taken by Kevin Rooney, former New York Ranger. He loses that puck, and the Bruins will flip this one towards center. It's backhanded right there. Bruins offside for a moment. Now the puck in between skates. Trevor Lewis fighting for it. The Flames are now back skating in their own end and are able to get the puck back to neutral ice. Partial 2-on-1 here. Pass across to Lucic is too far in front of the stocky forward for the Flames. And there's a shot right on. That one is blockered away. Good save right there. First shot of the game. So 17:30 to go here in the first. Flames with a nice possession here in the O zone as they fight in the near corner. Milan Lucic against his former team, the team with which he won the 2011 Stanley Cup against the Canucks in 7. Again, I always take an opportunity as a Flames fan, such a momentous win for the Bruins on the non-neutral ice of Vancouver. That caused a riot, John. That's an NHL memory for folks. It's not on every day I get a chance to call up a dark day in Vancouver. Now, listen, I don't mean to make too much fun. That was a very serious situation, but hey, the Canucks couldn't handle what they witnessed that day, and now over 10 years later, Milan Lucic still has his Stanley Cup ring, but a penalty right now against Clifton for a holding. So too much story time from your play-by-play man here. The Flames now have a power play, which is incorrect.
Yes, it is.
On the Sportsnet feed is a 3-minute penalty, John. It's another classic John Ott and Cooper Hopkins game here. It's the first 3-minute penalty in NHL history. Hopefully Sportsnet will get that clock worked out, but right now the Flames are trying to carry in. It was a 2-minute holding penalty against Clifton, so the Flames have the first man advantage here as they fight for the puck, which leaks down to the left corner. And fighting right there is Ruzicka, who John mentioned in our brief opening, and now the Flames are able to possess with some room. There's a pass across looking for a deflection. No Flames stick could make the connection, however, and the clock finally corrected there, so no 3-minute penalty. It's about minute 10 to go here, with the +1 on the ice for the Flames as Rasmus Andersson winds and fires kind of a weak shot right there. But the Flames do have possession down front. Nice stick handling right there. No shot attempt gets through. Tyler Toffoli on the ice, pushes over to Andersson. Now back to Toffoli. He'll take a wrister. That one's blocked right there. Couldn't get a number, but it was a nice block down on a knee. 4 minutes have gone here in the first. 45 seconds to go in the man advantage. Toffoli from a sharp angle. He got that one right on, but a great save. And the puck is cleared down the ice.
Cooper, it seemed like the whole right side of the ice was being ignored there by the Calgary Flames. Wanted the 1T there.
Yeah, it really was. It's an interesting opportunity right there for the Flames to potentially go with the cross-ice pass. They chose not to do so, and Toffoli went sharp angle. He did put a good shot on, but you'd like to see a little more puck movement there, especially when the Bruins are 22 of 23 killing penalties in their last 7 games. Credit to Sportsnet for that tidbit of information right there, as the Flames are about to let this power play expire with just a couple of shots on goal. 3 seconds now, 2. There's a shot from Hannafin, and with 1 second to go on the power play, embarrassment for this broadcaster. I thought it'd expire, but it does not. Noah Hannafin from distance gets that deflection right on, and it's 1-0 Calgary, John.
Well, forget what I just talked about, ignoring the right side of the ice. How about a power play buzzer beater? It was a nice entry there for the Flames off the back pass there for Backlund. Sets it up. Mangiapane, Hannafin lets it go from a long way out. I think Allmark might have been screened as well, but a good start there for the Calgary Flames. But the question isn't about the good starts. It's about the finish, and we'll see that later throughout this broadcast.
Absolutely. I'm trying to get a second or third look at it here. I'm not sure if that shot from Hannafin, which was way back out at the left point, right off the boards, I think Dubé may have deflected that out of the air. Backlund was in the area. But the celebrations have begun here for Flames fans everywhere as it's 1-0, I would say unexpectedly, just 5 minutes into this game. So no shots on goal for the Boston Bruins and 4 shots on goal with the 1 one into the net just moments ago, and it's going to be scored by Noah Hannafin at 4:43. So no deflection. He just fires that one off a body. I believe it bounced off a Bruin, if he's going to get credit for it, John. So we'll keep an eye on that as the Flames fight with a couple of Bruins players near the penalty boxes. Teams angling for possession here. This one leaks out back toward the spoked B logo at center ice, and it's sent back around into the near corner to the left of Vladar. Milan Lucic on the ice for the Flames along with Backlund. And this one is sent back around to the far boards. Bruins will pick up there, have some room to work. They're cycling in the Flame zone right now. The puck is to the right corner, picked up there by Swedish forward Michael Backlund, one of the assistant captains for the Flames. And the Flames will send this one down the ice. Should be an icing here, and it is blown dead with 14:08 to go in the first.
Oh, Cooper, this is a little bit of an unexpected start for me, even though we say that the starts have been good for the Flames, just because Boston doesn't even have a shot yet, 14:06 in.
Yeah, and they really had the first best scoring opportunity. Dan Vladar was to the left of his net, and the puck bounced through the crease area. But the Bruins just couldn't settle the puck and get a shot off. So you would have expected to see that one get settled and fired for the first goal. But guess what? The Flames get a man advantage, and they make excellent use of it. I mean, Noah Hannafin, with 1 second to go in that power play, puts it on net and is rewarded for it. So 1-0 Flames here. The Bruins win the offensive zone draw and try to get this one deeper toward Vladar's net, but it's off of a couple of skates, although the Flames outlet pass is intercepted. So a nice play right there by the Boston forecheck. This one is taken behind the net by Flames defenseman Nick DeSimone. So he's been a long time, I would say even a journeyman in the AHL, and over the past couple of games, he's gotten some big league time here with the top club. So look for number 57 on the ice tonight. And Michael Backlund with a nice forecheck right there in the far zone. And right there, it's going to be in the trapezoid, the puck bouncing around there and moves to the near board. So Backlund once again with possession. He's had a great early game so far. Flames try to carry this one and will do so. And Hannafin again with a soft wrister from that same spot where he scored, had to be sticked aside, and play is whistled dead as it's covered up by Omar. So, John, what more can we say here? The Flames celebrating early, and they're up 1-0 against the best team in the Eastern Conference.
I want to ask you a critical question here. In the sense of the third line, you got Dennis Gilbert and Nick DeSimone. Is that going to force Calgary to play a little more attention and make sure that they don't make careless passes on those breakouts and lock in a little bit, especially on the road?
I think so. Well, and this is a credit to your observation. I mean, we just saw what you described happen a couple of shifts ago. The Flames were trying to break out with a pretty standard pass from their own end into the neutral zone, and there just either wasn't angled correctly or there wasn't enough weight on it, as Derek Wills likes to say, and it was pretty easily intercepted. So I think against a team like the Bruins that has so many weapons and has had so much success and momentum this year so far, that just cannot happen. I'm sure Daryl Sutter, with the lineup that he has tonight, is going to look for strong fundamentals. And, so far, even with the 1-goal lead, you'd like to see some improvement, I would say.
I think you're seeing that right now. And again, I have a little bit of a treat for you that we're going to do in the first intermission since I have you on the broadcast. We're going to play a game show, and I'm going to call it the Cooper Hopkins Panic Index. And I'm going to have you give me panic index numbers for teams that can make the playoffs out of the Pacific. So look forward to that when we get into the first intermission.
Okay, well, and no pun. Whenever I use a reference to fire or heat, it's always a pun when we're doing Calgary games. But I invite it. Hold my feet to the fire. Don't let me get off easy, because my goodness, once upon a time we were essentially laughing, almost incredulous at how poor the Vancouver Canucks had started their season. Well, guess what? The Flames are now only 1 point ahead of those Canucks in the standings. So that'll be something we can touch on in that segment as well.
I'm looking forward to it. I think it's a good opportunity because after maybe every 15, 20 games, we can revisit that and see how it changes.
Yeah, absolutely. Boy, I just saw an incredible stat. It's hard to believe. Shots in the first 10 minutes for the Flames of their last 3 games. They have 23 across 3 games in that period. The first 10 minutes of the first period. Their opponents, 0. And the Flames have somehow continued to drop contests. So we have a pretty clear situation here, John, as action has resumed. Are the Flames starting hot? Again, there is another heat pun. Starting hot and getting really cold as the game goes on, especially in the later portions of the third period. So the Flames with the offensive possession right now. There's a shot deflected on by Coleman. Blake Coleman right on the doorstep, and that puck is taken by Linus Ullmark, number 35 on his back. Technically one of the better goaltenders in the league so far this year, John, with the 205 GAA.
Yeah, and they haven't got the exact numbers they wanted out of Jeremy Swayman either, but you think in between Ullmark, when they picked up last year, and Swayman, the Boston Bruins have a pretty darn good goaltending tandem.
Yeah, they certainly do. They absolutely do. Name we haven't said yet, other than in our intro, is Charlie McAvoy. Keep an eye on him as this game continues. You would expect him to make an impact eventually.
Yeah.
So face-off now going to be to the left of Ullmark, and it's won relatively cleanly by the home team. So the Bruins try to carry out, but immediately give up possession. Milan Lucic trying to chase down the puck now as it was touched along by Kevin Rooney. And now behind the net is Coleman. Make that Brett Ritchie wearing number 24. And the cross-ice pass attempted by Dennis Gilbert is taken away by the Bruins. Now here they come on a 2-on-2 to make it a 3-on-3 now as numbers come back. Puck is behind Dan Vladar's net. Right out in front with a shot is Craig Smith. That is now the best scoring opportunity for the Bruins tonight, and they do not convert. I believe that was their first shot on net. It hasn't popped onto the board yet. But the delayed penalty is coming up here against Calgary, so they'll be down a man shortly, but the Bruins possess at the moment. Now the puck is back out to neutral ice. It's carried there by Connor Clifton, who took the penalty earlier for the Bruins that allowed Noah Hanifin to score, making this game 1-0. Now here comes Patrice Bergeron, that classic number 37. He tried to carry toward the near corner, and possession is taken by the Flames, where play is whistled dead. John, did you see who this penalty is going to be against?
I haven't seen it yet. It hasn't popped up, but I do want to say I know the penalty was taken, but before that, it was good work by Milan Lucic to push them out of the defensive zone and make them start again when it looked like it was going to be a dangerous rush.
That's true, and I will say that Craig Smith's shot attempt was not actually on net. It did hit the net, but to the left of the post. So a save did not have to be made there by Dan Vladar, who was in net tonight. So still no shots for the Bruins. And Nick DeSimone, the defender for the Flames, is in the box. As the puck is right out in front of Dan Vladar. Tons of action there in the blue paint. He was sliding left and right and is able to eventually cover up. So just 7 seconds into the man advantage, the Bruins turn it up.
Welcome to the game, Mr. Vladar.
Absolutely. Boy, I thought that was going to sneak 5-hole, but he did a good job to scramble back when he needed to and close the door.
We'll see what Boston does on their power play, because you said how good their penalty kill was. I want to see what their power play numbers are. Sportsnet shows it.
Absolutely, and the Flames have allowed at least one power play goal in their last 7 games, so not a stat you love to see if you're rooting for the visitors tonight. Last 2 games on the power play for the Bruins, there's 3 of 5, so pretty standard opportunities right there as the puck is deflected from the high slot. I think it may have clipped the edge of Vladar's trapper, and that one goes all the way back down to Ullmark. So the Bruins try to carry out right here, and actually, John, you might have to take over the feed here. We just had a feed drop.
I did too.
I mean, what are we doing? We got 3-minute penalties, and we're going to the color bar like we're watching TV in the 1950s. But the feed is back. Somebody plugged it back into the wall or the board, who knows what. But a minute 10 here to go in the power play for Boston. Now carrying up is Pasta. He is pushed off the puck very heartily right there by one of the Flames defensemen, and they clear. No call. Pasternak was tied up right there with a couple of penalty killers for Calgary and put down on his backside. So Boston maintains possession here as they methodically carry up through the neutral zone and try to chip in. Rasmus Andersson closes down in the far corner. Puck is picked up right there and sent out in front. There's a backhand pass. Nice dipsy-do right there. Sent over to Charlie Coyle. He can't get the shot off, though. Bruins able to just keep it in at the blue line. And it's attempted pass back, but off of a skate. And now to Vladar's right. Stepping out in front. There was a great pass. And a slapper is, oh my gosh, John, I was about to make the goal call. It looked like Vladar had let it go 5-hole. But it goes up into the net, and play has stopped.
See, that one just got saved like you called, but I thought the shot before that should have been shot, and it was an extra pass there that I think allowed Dan Vladar to recover at the last second.
Absolutely. There have been a couple of those instances. And in on that checkup, Pasternak was Nikita Zadorov, former Colorado Avalanche man, defender for the Flames. So, yeah, but Vladar has had to scramble a few times while the Flames have killed this penalty. They've done so successfully, but now it's down low with 20 seconds to go in the man advantage, just over 10 minutes to go here in the first. Puck taken right there, and a slapper from distance is loose, and Vladar tried to cover. He loses his stick momentarily, as does one of the Bruins. But the Flames are holding off the home team right now. The Bruins are buzzing a bit, and they keep possession here with 2 seconds left in the power play. That goes to the far circle. It's passed back to Coyle. Coyle cycles back. It's given to the right of the dot, and this one bounces off the post, I believe, behind Vladar. I'm going to have to get another look at that one, John, but a ton of action. But the Bruins are still held off the score sheet.
It just grazed the right crossbar, Cooper.
Wow, so at least my eyes didn't deceive me there. I couldn't tell exactly what we got, but yeah, that's off the crossbar and not in. Boy, oh boy, some great opportunities for the Bruins. And Vladar thinks he's holding the puck, but it's loose to his right. My goodness, Vladar's doing everything but letting him in right now. This is looking a little shaky, but the Flames are able to take possession and carry out through the neutral zone and send this one deep. That was Nazem Kadri who pushes it behind Omar's net. But immediately the Bruins take over, although they leave this one and watch the puck be picked up there by Charlie McAvoy. So the first time we're mentioning McAvoy in the run of play. The Bruins have it down low. Fighting for the puck is DeSimone, but he's beaten. Oh, my gosh. It's another lost stick for Dan Vladar. That one was taken out by his own defenseman. So DeSimone goes back, tries to push the paddle back to his goaltender as Noah Hannafin will collect the puck behind Vladar. John, we have a lot to talk about. It's been a little hectic, but the Flames are actually up in this game 1-0. Boston pressing now, though, as they skate in. On the backhand right there for the Boston Bruins is Brad Marchand, and this time, keeping the stick and the puck is Dan Vladar.
I was just going to say, Cooper, Dan Vladar's got to hold this thing. This feels like the dam's about to break.
Yeah, and he's made a couple of good stops. There was a nice between-the-legs deflection right there that bounced off of his chest. So Vladar is doing everything that he can, just scrambling back and forth, front and back, to keep the Flames ahead in this game, 1-0 as we hit the commercial.
And we talked about the first 5 shots belonging to Calgary. The next 6 have been belonging to the Bruins, and although they didn't score, I would classify that as one of the good power plays for Boston. That was dangerous all the way around.
Yeah, it really was. All 2 minutes of that man advantage looked very dangerous, but the Flames and Dan Vladar somehow able to keep their composure. Just barely, just keeping those ends of the rope together and staying ahead of this game by 1-0. So, John, why don't you fill me in, since we just have a commercial break here? I'm going to be selfish. I just want to hear what your week has been like. Have you covered some action? What's stood out for you this week in the sports world?
So I was able to cover a basketball game, get back on the hardwood, and I saw the Hawks beat the Bucks, give them their first loss of the season. But the one last night on the hockey side that was pretty interesting to me, Cooper, was Carolina and Florida the other day. Florida won 3-0. Carolina got shut out. And that was without Matthew Tkachuk and a lot of other big-time injuries there. So Florida trying to get back in the right way. And the Atlantic able to get a big win against Carolina last night. And I was going to do one of the games on Tuesday between Dallas and Winnipeg. I just wasn't able to get to it. Winnipeg absolutely destroyed Dallas, and they're in the lead in the Central.
Yeah, and I think this Winnipeg Jets team is a team that most had on the fringe of playoff contention, and they're looking very strong right now.
And you go back to the same thing. Who's the coach for Winnipeg now? It's Rick Bowness. You got Dallas in the playoffs. I have no doubt that he can get the Winnipeg Jets in the playoffs because, honestly, they got more talent. I know things have gotten stale, but the Jets still have a lot of stars on that team, and they can do well.
Yes, they can. Boy, I have to give credit Sportsnet with a ton of great stats tonight. Time trailing at home for the Boston Bruins. Their last 7 games at home combined 1 minute and 17 seconds. In this game alone against the Flames, they've been trailing for almost 7 minutes. What a stat right there. As the puck floats over Vladar's net, we're back in the action, as John likes to say. 8:20 to go here in the first. Shots are even at 6 apiece, but the scoreboard favors Calgary right now. It's 1-0. Flames carry in right here. It's on Mangiapane's stick. He tries to cycle this one around the boards. The Flames leave it all the way back to the blue line. Nikita Zadorov fires one on. Backlund tried the deflection attempt, but he was bodied aside, and that puck floated to Omar's left. So 8 minutes now in the first. The Bruins will chase it down in their own end with the puck right now is Brandon Carlo. He'll send that one across toward the benches. And carrying in right there is Pasta for Boston. So it's backhanded to the corner to the right of Vladar, and back to the blue line it goes. The puck now picked up and held in. Flames trying to close down. They're unable to do so, but it is taken over by Calgary. Elias Lindholm on the ice now for the Flames. Line one center, and the stretch pass by Calgary is a little too far, and the hand goes up from the referee. Whistle is blown, and play is stopped. So the faceoff will come, I believe, to Vladar's left when we get started again.
Hopefully it'll be one of those situations in the first period here for the road team that they can kind of pick it up a little bit, because Boston's been putting a lot of pressure on Calgary here of late.
Yeah, they certainly have. Someone that I want to keep an eye on, John, in the games that we've done so far this season featuring the Flames, we've noticed the trend where Nazem Kadri has uncharacteristically lost some faceoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So it might be a little specific, but for hockey fans out there, you know how important faceoff stats can be. Let's see what the Flames can do tonight in that category, and they make a good start right there in that regard with Elias Lindholm winning a defensive zone draw, and the puck bounces all the way down to Ullmark. So the Flames trying to hold in right now. They'll successfully do so thanks to the stick of Adam Zichka. Puck's down to the near corner, but taken away by the Bruins and deflected all the way to the blue line, but held in beautifully. Nice job right there by Calgary's defenseman to keep the offensive possession going. Fighting for the puck right now are the Flames in the near corner once again. They carry out nice cross-ice pass right there, shot right on, and a pretty standard save right there for Ullmark. It hits him in the logo, and he will hold on after DeSimone gets the puck deep, and we'll have another face-off.
I know DeSimone was the one that took the penalty, so we'll see how aggressive he's going to end up being. But I like that standard shot there. You don't want to do anything too crazy. Calgary's got the lead. No need to turn over. Get the shot on net and get the face-off.
Yep, absolutely, and that is classic Daryl Sutter. He makes no secret about it. They're a shoot-first team, the Flames. And that was a nice play right there, DeSimone, to take a shot, make an effort, and see what can happen. And Ullmark answered the call relatively easily, but hey, another O-zone draw right here, and guess what? It's won by Calgary. So the pass goes over to the left point now, where it bounces behind the trapezoid, off the boards, and back the other way, actually giving a little momentum to the two-man rush by the Bruins. The Flames will take over, though, behind Vladar, try to get this one out, but they turn over the puck. A little bit of a video game move right there, trying to stick handle where the Bruins couldn't get a number on that one, but a nice play made. But the Flames able to take over and clear out. Puck at neutral ice near that black and yellow B. And carrying in, bounced off the puck is Lucic. Had he been clear, he might have had a one-on-one with Ullmark, but a good job by the Bruins defenders right there to knock number 17 for the Flames off of the puck just enough to prevent a shot attempt. Lucic with the puck one more time. Now this puck is bouncing toward Nazem Kadri. It's taken over, though, by the Bruins. And now Kadri promptly takes it away. He'll skate up. Bruins do have numbers back, though. He leaves it for a teammate, and now the Flames have the puck near the blue line. They step forward, and the shot attempt is off of some skates, although it bounces right back to Calgary. So a couple of lucky bounces right there for the Flames in the neutral zone, then in the O zone. Now Kadri will go for the sharp angle shot. I think that hit Ullmark in the shoulder. It bounced away harmlessly. Flames doing a good job. Active sticks right now, John. I like to see this in the neutral zone. They're making a nice press, but you have to watch out as the Bruins were there with a near one-on-one opportunity. Now the Flames will skate away. Dylan Dubé, first time we've really mentioned him other than in the shot attempt by Noah Hannafin that I thought was originally deflected in by Dubé, but of course it's credited to Hannafin right now. That's why we're sitting at 1-0. And this puck pass attempt is up into the players' bench. So we'll get a break right here. John, are you liking what you're seeing in the neutral zone from Calgary? I actually think that their active sticks right there made a big difference.
That was a good active stick check there by Zadorov, and he had to get back on his horse there because that sharp angle shot by Kadri was going to have a potential break.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've seen Boston with moments, right? We certainly saw when they had their man advantage. They look dangerous. You can see it bubbling just beneath the surface, and I think it's safe to say this game will not finish at the scoreline that we currently have. But a good start for Calgary, and they have looked really solid for the most part. A little scramble from Dan Vladar here and there, but they seem to have settled in. Can they, as we continue with this game, John, can they play this way in the third period? The answer has been no recently.
And that's what's got to change. I mean, you have 0-4-2 in the last parts of it. And like you said, Cooper, Calgary has been good to start all these things, even through the mid portions of the game. But that close, I see sometimes when I watch some of these highlights, it's just a careless pass here and there. But again, I hate to keep harping on that, but that's what's going to make the difference against teams like this, especially Boston.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to mention this many times throughout the evening, John. Of course, the Bruins are the top team in the Eastern Conference. Let's talk about another top team, a team that I did not expect to be in the position where they currently are. And I know we have intermissions where we can get in depth with this as we're nearing the end of this commercial break. But the team I'm talking about, John, is the Vegas Golden Knights. What an incredible early season they've been having. Just 2 losses, 12 wins, I believe. I mean, we don't have to get into the details right now. I'm just curious. Did you expect them to rebound this much? They're really looking hot.
No, not this much. And I think Bruce Cassidy's got to be happy. I mean, he was kind of let go inauspiciously from Boston. Don't you agree? And then now he goes to Vegas, and then Jack Eichel's healthy, and all these guys are rebounding. They look really good.
Yeah, I wonder if the team sort of takes on the mindset of its coach. A coach now with a chip on his shoulder,
Right.
As you said, being let go in an unceremonious way after having success on the other side of the country. And it looks like when Vegas has that mindset, that's what they need. They need that kind of internal drive, and they certainly seem to have it right now.
And Vegas is 7-1 on the road.
Oh, so huge. Road games. And this is what led to some of the Flames' success last year. They were one of the best teams in the NHL on the road. So they do have a lead right now on the road, on foreign soil, so to speak, with about 5 minutes and 10 seconds to go here in the first period, and the 1-goal advantage in the game. On the shot board is 10-6, Calgary leading by a margin of 4, and Backlund has the puck in the trapezoid behind Ullmark. He leaves that one for Mangiapane, picks back up himself, tries to get that one to the near half boards, where Lewis chases it down, but he can't possess. Now skating out is Charlie Coyle. Got the right first name, wrong last name. Puck slides back from the Flames end all the way back to neutral ice. It's taken there momentarily by Pavel Zacha. And now the Bruins will skate out of their own end. John, quick pronunciation check. I got that right? Is it Zacha? Or I don't think it's Zacha, is it?
It's Pavel Zacha.
Thank you so much. Boy, do I feel smart. I knew you would know. And I'm working with John Ott. I know you know. And so if I were doing this solo, I probably wouldn't second guess it. But I know I have the expert on, so I had to double check. So right now the puck is in the Bruins' end, where they pick up on the stick of Connor Clifton. He tries to shovel that one toward the blue line, but the Flames take over. And on the stick right now is Lindholm. He fires that one right into the glove of Linus Ullmark. So Ullmark's made a few saves like that, where the Flames have shot on from a relatively far distance, and he's made it look easy. That's what you need your goaltender to do, and Ullmark has certainly seemed to have been settled in here. He looks pretty rock solid, other than that one power play goal attempt that got the goal in for Calgary.
Yeah, it certainly seems like Boston has the trust of their netminders, because that shot had some heat on it there from Lindholm.
Yeah, Lindholm really got some torque on that stick, but in the right spot, out in the top of the crease was Ullmark. Makes a nice glove save, and now the offensive zone draw is won, and it's over to Zadorov. He passed across. The slap shot didn't get through. There's a shot from Lewis that hit a body in front, didn't make it all the way to the pad of Ullmark, I believe. Now a partial breakout. Here come the Bruins whiffing on the shot is Craig Smith. Boy, he just was like set up on a tee, and he swung over the top. That would have been a great scoring attempt for the Bruins, but no such luck. Nice touch pass right there in the neutral zone, and then a cross-ice pass. The Flames have their entire team back, but the Bruins making it look easy, passing through almost Swiss cheese-sized holes. And there's another one coming into the high slot, and a glove save required, but the rebound is left on the doorstep, and scoring for the Bruins is Connor Clifton, John Ott. What a great shot, and active skates, gets down low and fires in his own rebound over a down-and-out Dan Vladar. It's 1-1.
Well, you don't even need me on the color side, because you called that perfectly on the play-by-play. There was Swiss cheese holes everywhere on the pass. I mean, he's wide open in the slot and then able to get his own rebound and finish it off. That's what you've seen in the third period there, and that's going to kind of negate some of those good feelings that Calgary had. They played a strong first period, but you cannot leave Connor Clifton all alone and then allow him to get his own rebound. That's a defenseman. That's inexcusable.
Yeah, that is really a disheartening play for the Flames right there. Vladar has been scrambling all period long to keep the Flames ahead in this game. He was hung out to dry right there. It's worth noting that Clifton scoring on that play, the two defenders on the ice for the Flames were DeSimone and Gilbert. So not guys you would normally have in your starting lineup, and I don't want to blame them completely, as the Flames actually have an opportunity there near Olmark, which is cleared aside. But it's worth noting that those were the two defensemen on the ice giving up that goal. So the puck is floated in on Vladar, and he has to scoop that one up like a shortstop. He's able to do so and freeze his play as we're inside 3 minutes to go here in the first. But my, oh my, I cannot believe how open so many Bruins were when, as the Bruins entered the zone, John, every single Flame skater was back. That was a tough one.
Yeah, it was. And like you said, in between what's available between Gilbert and DeSimone, I'm not picking on them either. I think that's what you're going to have in a long season. That will have these guys play and trial by fire, and they're going to have to figure it out.
They certainly are right now. With a scoreline now that is tied and with 12-8 on the shot board, DeSimone and Gilbert are going to have to step up the game. They seem to have collapsed potentially down a little too low, a little too early, as there's a rebound right out in front. Dan Vladar has to sprawl one more time. The shot came in from the blue line as I was talking about defensive strategy, and it went right on. Vladar saw it at the last second, I think, John, made the save, and then had to shut the door with the left pad for the rebound. My gosh, Boston absolutely putting their foot on the gas as the Flames try to settle and get a breakout here. They're just trying to get back to the offensive zone, and they're unable to do so there. But luckily, the Bruins are on a change. So Calgary will pick up a loose puck near the red line at center ice, and it's to the corner to the right of Olmark. So the Bruins there will angle this pass out, and there's a stretch pass right there that deflects off of a stick blade and up into the players' bench. May have found its way to the crowd. Either way, play is whistled dead. My goodness, Dan Vladar has really had to make some big stops in this first period, and he's been down and out a couple of times, John.
Cooper, this game should not be 1-1. Dan Vladar is keeping the Flames in it right now. We talked about it in the previous break. I don't know if Coleman is going to the room or not. We talked about it in the previous break about good active stick checks, and then come back in from the break. Where the hell did it go?
Yep, absolutely. It seems like strategy changed on a dime in the wrong way. And play has been whistled dead here with 2:07 on the clock in the first. Not sure if we have an offside here or another call, John. I'm taking a look at the feed and don't have an answer for our listeners yet. I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
I'm sorry, I don't either right now. I just stopped in auspiciously here. It's 12-10 on the shot board in favor of Calgary, tied at 1-1, 2:07. We're going to have a feed at center ice now.
Yeah, interesting. So they bring the puck back to center ice where it's won by the Bruins. So that's something that we talked about several minutes ago about those face-offs. And right now, the Bruins are in possession in the offensive zone, but shot attempt bounces off of a defender's leg, and it scoots all the way back to the Bruins end of the ice. Flames trying to get a little bit physical here as the Bruins have the run of play at the moment. Puck is held right there by Brad Marchand, and he sends it to the far corner. 1:38 to go here in the first period. A couple of bodies down in that corner. Flames try to carry out on Mangiapane's stick. It bounces back to the Flames end, then back to Mangiapane, and now it's up to Backlund. He's alone against three Bruins. Gets the shot off. Nicely done by the longest tenured Flame right there. He gets the shot to Olmark, who's forced to make a save, and the Flames will have an offensive zone draw coming up in just a minute.
Instead of having that meeting there between Lindholm, Marchand, and Backlund, they should just say, good job getting the shot 3-on-1, because that was a good crisscross play there by Calgary just to get a shot on.
Yes, indeed. Backlund with that left-handed shot got that one off through the legs of Connor Clifton, and Olmark was forced to make a save. Did a good job right there. So Backlund, worth noting, has 6 points in 12 games this season, a decent pace for him so far, who was down a bit in scoring last year, looking to bolster those numbers again this season. 1:20 to go here in the first. Play is whistled dead. I think we're going to have a penalty, potentially a hold or a hook, and it looks like it's going to go against the Flames, John.
That is not what you want here, because again, the first period was really good. The whole latter section of it, now it's Ruzicka. So it's the guys that aren't normally in those spots, Cooper, that the ones that are taking the penalties right now.
Yes, they are. Yep, I think Ruzicka just doing a little more than was necessary right there. The puck was scooting through the trapezoid area. I think he was really fighting for possession, sensing, like we all are, that the play has really been tilted toward the Bruins right now. But unfortunately, it's going to be even more so as Ruzicka will sit for 2 minutes. The Bruins are 0-for-1 on the power play tonight with 4 shots as Patrice Bergeron is waved out of the faceoff circle. So now David Krejci steps in. He'll take the face-off to Dan Vladar's left against Backlund. Krejci wins it. That one's shot from way out. Vladar couldn't find it. I think he may have gotten a piece of it. Puck bounced up off the glass, and eventually the Flames will clear down. So 1 minute and 8 seconds to go here in the first period as Ullmark leaves for his teammate Patrice Bergeron for the breakout. About 20 seconds have elapsed here in the man advantage. The second power play of the night for the Bruins. 13 shots for the Flames, 12 for the Bruins. That a nice drag shot attempt right there is turned aside by Vladar. And with less than a minute to go, Krejci's buzzing, gets that pass across. It's off of a stick blade up onto the glass. Noah Hannafin tries to close down. He has the puck on his stick momentarily, but he's spilled to the ice, loses possession, and the Bruins have it in the near boards. There's a shot right on. It's Bergeron. Just a simple give and go. He hits that puck toward Vladar, and Vladar has to make a shoulder save. So Bruins keeping the pressure on the Flames right here. And the Flames can barely do anything to get it out. It's on the stick in the blue paint. Vladar turns that aside. He's diving everywhere as he has all period, John. And the Bruins are having their way with Calgary at this very moment. There's a shot. It is deflected away and eventually cleared. Although we have the play whistle down, are we going to have a 5-on-3 here, John?
We very well might, but I think this one might be going up against DeBrusk instead. He's talking with the referee, and that was another time, Cooper, where the goal stick was knocked out of his hands, and I think the shot might have bounced off the goal stick.
I think you're right. My goodness, Dan Vladar has lost his stick in this period alone, I believe, 3, potentially 4 times. What effect do we have on these games, John? Every single time we call an NHL game, especially when it's the Flames, something crazy is happening. And my gosh, on the doorstep there was Jake DeBrusk. He was left all alone. Nikita Zadorov not succeeding in his check, and that should have been 2-1 Boston, I would say.
Yeah, Dan Vladar's had to flop around like a fish out of water there, just trying to get back up. He's kept this team, and he's been excellent in this first period.
He certainly has. So it's going to be a 4-on-4 for 48 seconds. DeBrusk called for interference for deliberately kicking the stick away from Dan Vladar. And the Flames have it in the offensive zone right now. Mangiapane fighting for the puck. But it will not matter as the clock has run down to 0. So the Bruins have really pushed the Flames around in this first period. But the Flames did well to score on their first and only power play. Noah Hannafin, your goal scorer for Calgary. He made it 1-0. And then guess who? Connor Clifton, of all people, fires on a shot, gets his own rebound, and puts it above a down and out Dan Vladar, and we are tied at 1 heading to the break.
That was a crazy first period between two teams that are troubled. One's trying to get back on track, one trying to continue their momentum. But Cooper, we had this one circled for a while as far as we wanted to cover. And I think this road portion of it for Calgary, look, I know how good Boston is. You want to have the attention to detail. They go into this locker room after the first period. They give a hug to Dan Vladar, and then they figure out some things that they got to clean up. And hopefully after the 4-on-4 is done, they get part of the power play. They get settled back in. That was a nice gift from Jake DeBrusk. But they got to settle back into the second period and do a lot better than they did toward the middle and end of that first.
Yeah, they really do. I mean, it's really confusing. I would say I don't have another word for it, John. I mean, you see flashes of what the Flames are able to do, and we called the first game of their season against the defending Stanley Cup champions. They looked like a team that was prepared to take down a Stanley Cup champion. That's what they did against Colorado. They looked good for the first couple weeks of the season, and all of a sudden the light starts to flicker. And I'm not sure anyone has a real clear or full explanation of just why that is, but it's undeniable, is it not? They just cannot seem to put it together certainly not for full games, but now even for full periods, sometimes even for full shifts, they can't really stay on their game and keep the opponent on their heels. Does that sound right, John?
No, that does sound right, but I want to think about it this way, because that's what we talked about going into the season, but then Calgary went 4-1 to start the year, and we kind of put that thought aside because we said, look, with all the new pieces and things like that, this is going to take some time for this team to gel. But now toward the back end of this 0-4-2 and then now going up against Boston, is that what we're seeing now? Just like you said, is this the time that they need to take the gel and is whatever going to happen on the road. Look, I don't care about the record at this point here, Cooper. I'll just be honest with you. Whatever is going to happen here on the road, that's what hopefully gets Calgary going. So by the time they go back to the Saddle Dome, they can get things going, right the ship, and figure it out.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. Something we touched on during the call of the first period. The Flames were a really solid road team last year. It was a big piece of their recipe for success, and it certainly seems that that's going to need to be the case again this year. There's no guarantee after this early portion of the season that they're just going to run teams out of the building at the Saddle Dome. So they have to be solid on the road, and this would go a long way. And by this, I mean a victory against a team that has been as strong as Boston has been so far. This would go a long way, I think, to pushing them further down the road of confidence and believing in their ability to succeed when away from Calgary, don't you think?
Oh, you have to. I mean, this is a game, like you said, that we circled, and you're thinking about some other teams that are starting to make momentum. Look, Tampa Bay starting to push in the standings when they end up playing them on the road. There are still, again, a good win against Carolina that we had over like a week and a half ago, but it seems like an eternity. But in the sense of, this means a lot tonight, regardless of even if they can just get a point and find their game and figure it out. This is important for Calgary to kind of pace themselves and figure out where they are and what team they're going to be this year.
Yep, absolutely. But you know what? I know that you were considering covering another game solo this evening featuring a team that's near and dear to your heart. We keep talking about the Bruins. I mean, obviously, we're calling their game tonight. But we've mentioned a number of times that the Bruins, are the top team in the Eastern Conference. You know who, John, is one of the top teams in the Eastern Conference? Now, listen, I know that there's a multiple-way tie. We have like a four-way tie for one of the top positions in the conference. But why don't you tell us a little bit about the Red Wings this year? I am really liking what I'm seeing from Detroit, legitimately. And if they can keep up the way they've been playing, my gosh, Sean, are we talking playoffs for the Red Wings this year?
You're the one that told me that when we did our trade deadline preview show. You said it not just because they're friends or anything. I'm going to let you know that I think the Red Wings are going to make it all the way through. So I'll give you full credit on that, Marks. Again, it's a 7-3-3 start. They're tied at 1 right now. It's Mika Zibanejad from Adam Fox. God, Mika Zibanejad has 8 goals already. And then Joe Veleno had to come in there with Jonathan Berggren and Oli Mata. So 2 new guys on the fourth line side. Veleno gets his second of the year. Jonathan Berggren gets his first game, first point. I think it's a really good start. Look, I understand the beginning of the year for Detroit. I'll just say this really quickly. Had a very soft serve schedule. I won't deny that. They dropped an overtime result of the Blackhawks. Things happen. But 7-3-3 is not too bad considering. So you only really have 3 regulation losses if you look at an NHL part of it. With all the injuries that they have, with Tyler Bertuzzi, with Jacob Verana, with Robbie Fabry, you have some uneven goaltending there with Alex Nedeljkovic. Ville Husso has been an absolute magnet right now. He stopped everything in his path. And the Red Wings are trying to get 2 straight wins over the Rangers, and they already beat the Islanders last part of the back-to-back. So really good start for them. I'm questioning whether or not they can keep it up here, Cooper, but considering all the injuries and considering that they're still standing, I might be looking at a much different team than I'm used to last year when they would fall apart by February.
Yeah, I mean, I think that will be the case. You know what I find so interesting about the Eastern Conference in particular is that the top 3 teams, while they may not be completely separated by points, and so we're talking about the Bruins with 22 points going into this game, the Devils, I mean, my gosh, the Devils have been a revelation so far this year, and the Islanders with 18 points. The goal differential I find really fascinating. So those top 3, respectively, that we just mentioned, so plus 23 for Boston, plus 14 for New Jersey, and plus 13 for the Islanders. And then you have 6 teams, John, including the Red Wings, the Hurricanes, Florida, Toronto, the Flyers, and Tampa Bay, who all are in that plus 1 to plus 4 goal differential range. So there can be so much movement depending on who gets on a hot scoring streak, who has a little run of unfortunate goaltending at the wrong time. I mean, this is why we watch and why things are so fascinating. And we're going to start to see who separates themselves specifically in the Eastern, because the Western's a little more jumbled up, but that Eastern Conference has a big middle of the pack, and it's going going to be fascinating to see who starts to separate themselves.
Yeah, before we get into the quick little game show I want to throw to you, Cooper, I want to make the point of the East, and I'm never saying anything disparaging about the West, but I would say if you had to pick a conference with better teams that are all bunched up there, that's kind of the death line of the East is where it's at. You have some of your heavy hitters already in the West that you already know are going to be playoff teams. In the East, it's been all over the place right now, like you said, with Buffalo, with the Devils. Some of these other teams, it's all been different there, and good starts there for the Islanders and Flyers. So there's still a lot to figure out right now.
Yeah, absolutely, and I know I want to get to the game as you were mentioning a second ago. One other thing I will say, just as we do glance over to the West, listen, there are a couple of teams in spots where we expected them to be, namely the San Jose Sharks and the Anaheim Ducks,
Yes.
who are pretty deep in the standings at right now, technically spots 14 and 15. But the most unexpected, I would say, John, the St. Louis Blues are in the cellar right now at 3 and 8. Negative 20 goal differential. That is second worst in the Western Conference, only to Anaheim. Do you think that they're going to be able to turn it around? I know the season's still early, but it's not a newborn anymore. We're starting to get into things.
Cooper, they started 3-0 on the season and lost 8 straight. And I haven't checked the points totals lately for the Blues, but I know just a couple games ago. Do you want to know? Take a guess how many points Ryan O'Reilly has, the Blues captain.
I'm going to guess that that's a 0.
He had 1. I saw a couple days ago. 1. It's Ryan O'Reilly. We know him to be one of the best two-way forwards in the league, period, bar none. Look, I know he's getting older there, but there's a situation where St. Louis, like you said, they need to be able to turn around because they have to do. You signed Robert Thomas and Jordan Kyrou. You're not getting everything you want out of them. It's just the Vladimir Tarasenko show and nothing else.
Yep, and you made a great point, too. I mean, I set it up. You knocked it down. It was the 3-0 start, earning 6 points.
Yes.
I mean, hey, 3 times 2, there you go. And that has been it. 8 games in a row, all losses, not even making it to an overtime point. I don't know what to say. It's not something that anyone, certainly not I, could have expected. I don't think you thought, and by any means, they'd be in this position. I mean, there's still a lot of road to work with in terms of the season. But my gosh, they've really put themselves in a hole, even worse than the Flames have,
Yeah, if you're looking to go from worst to first from a few years ago when they won the Stanley Cup, you're really putting yourself in dire straits, like you said.
Yep, and they've done it before. Excellent point as always. But okay, enough of the. We don't need to beat up on the basement dwellers anymore. They're doing their best. They're all professionals working hard, but now we got to work hard, or I have to at least.
So
I think you got some stuff for me, don't you?
I'm gonna put you on a 20-second spot. So this is just your first thoughts. So give me your perfect day and your worst day in 20 seconds or less. What's a perfect day for you?
Like, wait a minute, about hockey or just in life?
Just in life.
Okay, perfect day. I'm with my family and my best friends and my wife Jennifer, and we're all on vacation in somewhere in Washington State with a beautiful warm day and a breeze. Everyone's having a beverage of their choice, and we got our favorite pizza on the way.
Okay. All right. So that's 1 on the panic index. Perfect day. Now what's a 10? What's your worst day?
Worst day. Okay. I get unexpectedly fired from my job. I'm told that I can never broadcast a sporting event again, even as a hobby. Jennifer tells me that she's leaving me for my best friend, and my entire family is put in jail in life sentences, and I cannot visit them. There you go.
Okay, so 1 will be Golden Knights and 10 will be Ducks. That's how we'll do it in the Pacific side. So we know that the Ducks and Sharks, we don't have to talk about them because they're not making the playoffs, and the Golden Knights are already in there. So as far as your Seattle Kraken here, Cooper, 1 to 10. 1 meaning they're making the playoffs, no doubt, maybe doing damage, and 10 meaning nothing. What's the panic scale for Seattle?
Okay, so wait a minute. Set me up again. So 1 was good. 1 is excellent, right?
1 is excellent, yeah.
Okay. I didn't want to flip this thing on its head.
Right.
Then if it's 1 to 10,
yes.
For the Kraken, I mean, I think that we're at a 2. I think we're about at 8-4-2, the Seattle Kraken.
Mm-hmm.
Currently looking better than they have in their very young history. The only reason I'd give them a 1 is if maybe those overtime losses had been wins, right? If I still remember a game against the Blackhawks. I think it was like their third game of the season, where they had a 2-goal lead in the third period, ended up losing that game 5-4, I think was the final. You'd like to see them finish that off, but they've really come around. They're not losing games like that anymore, and in fact, they're on a big winning streak, the longest of their existence. So it's a 2 for the Kraken.
Okay, and then I will leave your team last because we can talk about that. But what about the Vancouver Canucks? They've rebounded a little bit. They got 11 points.
Yeah, the Canucks, you know what? I'll put it in this context. It's sort of what I mentioned when we were calling the first period. And I won't go into the Flames. We'll save that. But the Flames are only 1 point ahead of the Canucks in the standings right now. Now, the Canucks still 4-7-3. I think that most of their fans, probably their staff and players, would maybe have thought that the same numbers of that record would be the case, but you'd see that 7 in the win column instead of the 7 in the loss column. So let's put it this way. I think that we are still at a 6 on this panic meter. I think we were at a 9 before, but the Canucks have moved away from the true pulling your hair out kind of panic and are now back to a more of a, I guess is calm panic a thing? I think they're not reassured, but they have at least a grip on the steering wheel. Let's put it that way.
They're sitting right on the line, as you would say. I absolutely agree with you on both of those numbers there. So let's go one more time to your bitter rival there in the Battle of Alberta, the Edmonton Oilers. They're going to miss Evander Kane for quite a while, but you would expect Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl can continue to do the same damn thing?
Yeah, and I first of all, listen, you can think what you want about Evander Kane and the way he plays hockey.
He's really good.
He's really good, and you know what? He can be a pest, but he certainly is going to be missed. Most importantly, I'm glad he's okay. He is an incredible talent in the NHL, and what a scary scene. I'm glad he was taken care of. I'm glad he was able to respond to the media and fans and let us all know that he'll be okay. But obviously the seriousness of that injury is going to keep him out for a number of months. May not see him again this season, although I think that there is hope that he might make an appearance in the spring. So that being said, the panic meter that John has set me up with, I'm going to say that because of that injury.
And Jack Campbell.
Yes, absolutely. And the goaltending situation. I think that with Edmonton, they're at 8-6, 16 points, having played 14 games. I'm going to say the panic meter is at a 5. I think that everyone is holding their breath right now to see how the team responds without some of that firepower from Evander Kane. As you said, listen, if anybody can carry a team, it's Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid. Absolutely. But the goaltending situation and the loss of one of their marquee players, I think before the Kane injury, you'd be at about a 3. I think now, going to hold your breath, see how the team responds, because you're not that far from 500. You lose a couple of games, 3 games, all of a sudden you're sub 500. But you win a couple, then you're looking at 10-6, 11-6. So we'll call it a 5.
Okay, and I'm going to leave this team out of it. I'm just going to go ahead and throw it out there with the Los Angeles Kings. They've been up and down all season. But I will say this with Jonathan Quick. He's done the job. Gabe Vigliardi's been really good. That team's still trying to figure it out. I think they do get in there because the Pacific has been a little soft as far as some of the standings is concerned, as you have Seattle Kraken in second. But Cooper, that's going to leave us with enough time. The Calgary Flames 5-5-2, 12 points. But they do have a couple games in hand, even after tonight. What's the panic level for Calgary?
All right, I'm going to throw it out there. I still going into this game, and we're tied after 1. We've seen a microcosm of the season in this first period between the Bruins and the Flames.
Yes.
We've seen the competency. We've seen some skill. We've seen the Flames be able to create some opportunities. And we've seen scoring from relatively unexpected places, right? Gaudreau gone, Kachuk gone. We've been over it. So Noah Hannafin scores. So the number that I'm going with, John, is I'm going with 1/2 of Vladar's number on his jersey. It's not the 0 because the Flames looked like it was a 0 panic, but I'm going to say they're at panic level 8 right now. Now, win tonight could drop that number by a couple spots. Maybe even 3 spots, get them to a 5 where we put the Oilers. But part of the reason why I'm putting them so far into the desperation of the side of the panic meter is that Fans and some of the media have even been questioning Daryl Sutter's decision-making in terms of his lineups, where he's been placing different forwards. We talked about Lucic spending time on the second line. I think people have been questioning the head coach and his guidance of the team, and that is a very specific type of panic.
I think it is, Cooper. I appreciate you giving me honest answers on all of them. I would give you an A+ on that, to be honest. But I would also say, as we're going to get back into play, Jonathan Huberdeau and some of these other guys haven't given you the same kind of lift just yet. So what do you expect Daryl Sutter to do? He's got to try everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And that, you know what, you filled in the gaps right there. That's what I was referring to. You don't have the production from some of the big names. Huberdeau now dealing day-to-day with an upper body injury. He is not drawn into the lineup tonight. So it's going to be an interesting stretch. So the Flames are now missing players who they were expecting big production from, not getting it. Nazem Kadri's cooled off after a very hot start. He's still making contributions, don't get me wrong. It just has not been as intense of an impact as we saw in the first few weeks of the season. So very interesting stuff, John. You set me up perfectly. We got the timing just right.
We did.
And we're about to hit the second period. Would you, my friend, like to take some of this action right now?
If you want to go through and do the whole game, I can. That's fine with me, unless you want to hand it off.
Well, you know what? You set me up so great with that. You had the first intermission of the game going for us with the panic meter. You got face-off right here to start the second period. It's won by the Flames. John, if you got the feed, jump on in, and I'll take color.
All right, you're actually a little bit ahead of me this time, so that is a little bit of a change. So this is a 4-on-4 side now, and then Calgary will have an abbreviated power play as Hannafin will get the pass across, but it's intercepted there by Boston. So we'll see what happens here on the 4-on-4 and then the abbreviated power play for Calgary. Good active stick check there by Mangiapane. He's able to get open on the left wing side, hold off the backhand, and then dump this one down. So it was a good start for Calgary in the first period. It was a not so good end of it, and then we'll see how this ends up changing. Because without Dan Vladar right now, I don't think this would be a 1-1 game. As Rasmus Anderson trying to pick this up, and Nikita Zadorov, and now the 4-on-4 is going to end. So it's a minute 5 abbreviated power play here for the Calgary Flames. Shot hold by Toffoli, and this one gets blocked. This goes back to the B and picked up now by Rasmus Anderson in his own end. 13 shots apiece, 1-1 is your score right now. We are watching this at TD Garden in Boston. The Boston Bruins are 11-2 this season. The Calgary Flames are 5-5-2. So Calgary trying to pick up a big road win, let alone a point right now. So Lindholm plays this here from Vladar, and he's going to go left to right across your radio dial. Boston Bruins will be attacking right to left in this period. Toffoli, it's the clear cost, and Nazem Kadri tried to center it out in front, but nobody was there. And this is picked up by the Calgary Flames defense as they're trying to battle near the left side of this red line. Boston will rattle this around the kick plate all the way down the ice as they get the clear. And this will touch the goal stick of Dan Vladar. They got to be quick as Vladar comes together there with Anderson. He's almost momentarily tripped as Boston was able to almost pry that puck loose. That was really dangerous and nonchalant there as Trevor Lewis needs some help there. It goes back to Anderson. They got to be quick about it again as Calgary. They're having a tough time trying to get out of their own zone on the power play. And now this is finally picked up across. It's Michael Backlund. He's going to slap it. Rebound. Oh, it just missed. That was a golden opportunity, but Calgary still has it right now. Another shot gets held by Allmark.
John, I'm speechless. I cannot believe it's not 2-1 Flames right now. Michael Backlund did a beautiful job right there to hold, coming from the right half boards. Holds, gets the stick up in the air with the slapper, shot on, rebound right in front for Calgary. Mangiapane just misses.
Man, that was as close as you can get, and that almost actually went off of the stick of Allmark as he tried to dive across. I don't think he actually got a piece of it. They just missed, like you said, but still a hell of an effort there by Allmark just to try to make something happen. As that just hit the outside of the cage. Wow.
Yeah, incredible effort by Allmark, but definitely should be 2-1 here as the Flames win that offensive zone draw.
So another draw win by Calgary. They've been really good in that marker of it, especially over the Kadri side and all that. So this is picked up by Lucic as Rooney won that one. It's tipped in the air. Rooney trying to pick it up. He gets knocked down by Brandon Carlo. And are we getting a call? This one is going to go against Carlo. He's going to go for tripping.
Yes, he certainly is. Carlo protesting as he gingerly skates to, I should say sheepishly, gingerly, no, he's not hurt. He's just embarrassed that he tripped Rooney going to the corner. Yeah, he took both skates out, and that's a pretty easy call for any referee.
So we'll see what happens here with the Calgary Flames on the power play side of it. They've won a lot of face-offs here, Cooper, so you think that would have to spell pretty well there for the Flames if they can continue this trend.
Absolutely.
Lindholm going to take the draw. It bounces off of Kadri's side. He's going to pick this up near the right wing before the Boston Bruins clear this one down. So Dan Vladar, we'll see if this puck clearance and pickup can be a little more pedestrian, they say, as Rasmus Anderson has to fight off Boston Bruins there with Charlie Coyle. And now Lindholm gets the extra pass across to Foley. This goes in between some skates of the Boston Bruins, and Rasmus have to go back to pick this up. 17-10 left to go in the second period. John Hunter with you on play-by-play, joined by Cooper Hopkins on color as we switched off, and we'll probably do so again before this game is over. As Olmark will play this around the goal cage. Nice forechecking there by Calgary as this is picked up now by Kadri near the right side red line. This goes back to Rasmus as he's going to hold him white. Kadri lets it go through a partial screen, and this goes all the way back to Toffoli near the right line side. And now Rasmus Anderson holds it on the right side. Toffoli's got it near the right circle, holding off the backhand now. A minute left to go on the power play. Rasmus Anderson to the screen. That one goes wide. Kadri tried to deflect it. Picked up by Lindholm, centered out in front. And one of the Flames paid a price right there just to try to get near the left faceoff dot as it got cleared down the ice. Vladar will watch this one go by as Rasmus Anderson will try to power play quarterback this thing. It's Mackenzie Weegar now. The Backlund. Nice power move! And this one was stopped off the backhand by Olmark. That was Dubé.
Wow, Dubé comes streaking in right there, tries to go forehand, backhand, and Olmark just stays staunch in his blue crease, the blue paint of the crease there, and makes a beautiful stop. I think he got a piece of it with the lower portion of the glove there. Let's take another look. Yes, indeed. He closes the door right there as the Flames try to get control again as the faceoff is won.
And Cooper, it'll be one of those things for me to look at. Calgary's looked pretty good on their power play so far, but when it gets back to even strength, can they keep this momentum going? That's the question. Backlund has it now and behind the cage as the pass gets left off there. Dylan Dubé gets fought off the puck, but somehow able to keep the body twisted to keep that alive. Backlund centers it out in front. Now here's a chance for Brad Marchand. Holding off the backhand. Dipsy Doodles still almost gets around Hannafin. And Hannafin has to come back up and clean the mess. So Brad Marchand, you're seeing part of that skill just coming back from an injury about a week ago. Picked up in the high slot. What a stop by Markov Backlund. And now this is Hannafin as he's got to go back near the red line side, and the penalty is over. Picked up now.
Oh, man. John, I should have taken the second period. You're getting all the good action.
We can flip whenever you want.
I signed off on the swap at the wrong time. You've got some really exciting calls here and made them beautifully. Also, speaking of beautiful, the saves by Linus Olmark have been clutch. It could be a multiple goal lead for the Flames right now, if not for the Bruins netminder.
And I appreciate that, man. Whenever you want to take the call, be my guest. I'm just happy to be doing this game with you here today. It's been a lot of fun.
No, this is great. So 6 shots this period for the Flames, none for the Bruins technically, although Marchand almost toe dragged in his way into a beautiful breakaway. That was fantastic and a nice back check by Calgary.
This seems like the start of the first period for Calgary, but they need to be able to maintain this. They can't allow that second push as this goes back to Matt Grzelcyk now. David Krejci, a long-tooth veteran. Again, they're happy to have him back in Boston. He's been exceptional as well. As this one gets dumped in there with Dan Vladar, played quickly off the kick plate and then intercepted momentarily and now picked up by Calgary. Holding off the backhand was Brett Ritchie. Couldn't corral it there. It was one of the Flames. And now here's a fortunate turnover. Lucic. Another shot gets blocked. Picked up by Ritchie. Ritchie, as Rooney's waiting near the right side red line, he's going to pick it up and help Ritchie there a little bit. So good checking on both sides of the forechecking, good pressure. As this goes right in the catching glove from a long way out, right in Olmark's breadbasket.
Yeah, John, you know what? You said it. I'm going to steal your phrasing. This looks a lot like the first period, the first half of the first period, I should say, for Calgary. Dan Vladar not being asked to do too much, although there was a little glimpse into the past as he almost had an issue handling the puck in the trapezoid behind his own net. So the Flames dodge a bullet there and really come back over the past 5 minutes or so and look like the better team right now.
So you wonder why that is, because we both saw that on Sportsnet, plus 22 here for Boston, but minus 2 in the second period. We'll see if they'll end up changing that as this gets intercepted there by Rasmus Anderson nicely. That could have been a 3-on-1. Boston will collect in their own end with Connor Clifton. Clifton, the Hampus Lindholm. This one goes off the kick play back to Rasmus Anderson, and he's just going to rattle it back around. Picked up now by Boston. They're going to attempt to go right to left across your radio. Dollars, Brad Marchand will collect that one nicely, and he's going to chip this one down across the red line here. Vladar. And every time Vladar touches the puck, Boston is not afraid to commit one extra man there to try to get a steal. So you got to be careful on that side of it. Their forecheck's been aggressive. Picked up now by the Flames as Rooney tries to bank this off, but this goes back to the left side faceoff dot, and he will collect now as Adam Ruzicka. Ruzicka off the backhand, still able to use that little bit of strength and weight to move the puck around there nicely between two Bruins as Calgary still tries to push this one ahead there. Coleman is the 1-4 checker there as Boston picks it up. Nice double pass there from Marchand. Krejci will get his clearing, and Dan Vladar has to go back and play this again. And I always hold my breath when I see that because, again, there's the extra forechecker. As the Flames get across the sea, Nazem Kadri nicely using the body and the backhand to protect the puck. And this is picked up now by Tomas Nosek, former Golden Knight Detroit Red Wing. Nosek will go back in his own zone, pass this one to Matt Grizzlick. Grizzlick holds, and he gets a clear in there where this goes back to Gilbert. Third line defense here for Daryl Sutter and the Flames, and a reverse hit against Foligno as Trevor Lewis trying to get this across the red line side, and Nazem Kadri. It's 1-on-2. See if Nazem Kadri holds or creates some space. He's going to fire one through the screen, but nobody was there to pick up the rebound. Allmark able to stop that moment to skate, and now this goes back to the Flames in their own end. Lewis, Majapani lost it, and Filip Zadorov will get this one, and he's going to lose it off an active forecheck. And now this one's going to go across the B, picked up by Majapani. Majapani going to reset back to his defense there. Hannafin's going to need some help, and Zadorov will come back and cover this as it's 20 shots to 13. 1-1 is your score between Calgary and Boston, and now they're going to let the forwards take the change as Zadorov took his time to mind the net. Good breakout pass of the backhand side by Calgary as this is picked up by Backlund. He's just going to slam this around the right side red line. Good active forecheck there. Mangiapane tried to be the first to it. He's going to go ahead and take his change. Flames outnumbered 1-on-4. Good work there by Ritchie, just to be able to get some time. But now the Bruins with David Pastrnak. Got to be careful with this guy. He's one of the best goal scorers in the league. He tries to get an entry by himself. Vladar will quickly play this one. This bounces in between Lucic. Tried to get around a hit as Calgary tries to go left to right across the dial here. Good skating. Lucic able to stay on side, and now they can't. 11:54 left to go in the second, tied at 1.
Well, John, we're going to hit the commercial break here, and it's been a fast-moving second period for sure. And I'm not sure if the Flames goaltender would say the same. Basically, all of the action that Dan Vladar has had in this entire period so far, as we're almost halfway through the second, has just been skating out from in front of his net to back behind his net to play the puck.
Yeah.
I mean, and other than one instance that was a little hairier than it needed to be, that's really all he's had to do is just skate out, get to the trapezoid, distribute, get back in front.
And if, again, I know who we're speaking to between both of us. We both love the game of hockey and all that, but when you look at that zone in between the Calgary Flames, that's exactly what you want. If you're able to do that against the Boston Bruins again, there's a little bit of the conversation that we had in the first intermission, Cooper, about what you can see that this Calgary Flames team can do. They can even disrupt the 11-2 Boston Bruins.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, listen, we covered it. Worth talking about again. They're short in their forward ranks. They're short on the defensive side of the puck. They have their backup goaltender in, who, admittedly, I mean, I think at this point, we were looking at a 1A, 1B situation in Calgary with Marchand and Vladar.
Mm-hmm.
And Vladar recently signing that extension with the Flames, and rightfully so. I mean, he has been a pretty rock solid presence. I mean, hey, every goaltender is going to have a moment that they don't want to remember here and there, but by and large, he's been a solid presence. Even when things were shaky tonight in the first period, as we could not ignore. I mean, it was a scramble for the Flames in the first period. Ultimately, they did give up that one goal, but really that can't be hung on Vladar. He was left out to dry, and it gives up the one. But he's looking sharp tonight. I'm impressed by his play. I've liked what I've seen from Nazem Kadri in this game. He made a nice, smart play in his last shift to hold the puck, create some space for himself, as you mentioned. So the Flames are showing glimpses of their potential. And this is the theme, John. It's going to be the theme until they start to string together some more wins. Can they let that potential shine without having it being overshadowed by their opponent?
And yes, and also before I get back into the action, did you just see that highlight there from Lucic?
Yes, it did. I did the old days. I mean, he's still doing it. What a presence he is in this league! Incredible.
So Matt Grizzly will pick this one up now here for the Boston Bruins. Again, we are just about to hit the halfway point of this contest, really. It's still 1-1. Calgary's got a 20-13 shot advantage right now, picked up by Boston in behind the cage of Dan Vladar, as this is picked up by Teller to Foley. He's just going to chip this one across the red line. It's going to be a race to the puck, try to get picked up there. Good work by Toffoli, just be able to find a way through with Adam Ruzicka trying to go ahead and try to get to this in the left side red line. And now here's Rasmus Andersson one more time. So Cooper, I will say this, Rasmus Andersson, every time they need him to be on that back check part of it, he's intercepted the puck and done pretty well. So picked up now by the Bruins. Taylor Hall, extra outlet pass to David Pastrnak. Taylor Hall and David Pastrnak on the same line. That is your second line, folks. That tells you how good the Boston Bruins are. As Rooney will get this one down deep. Boston will recollect. Again, Boston is playing a little bit more of a dump and chase right now as Calgary. I wouldn't say feeding them their lunch right now, but they're playing with the pressure that they need to try to make this a 2-1 contest. Boston looking to break out now. Hampus Lindholm, former Anaheim Duck. He just got a big contract extension in the offseason. He's going to go ahead and rattle this around the kick plate. Picked up now by Taylor Hall. What a slap shot setup, and what a save by Vladar. Connor Clifton. Pastrnak lets it go through the screen. Coleman's got to get to this right now as this is spun around. Boston's still able to intercept there with Connor Clifton, but he can do no more than try to dump it down. This is intercepted now by Pastrnak as he'll get this one back down the ice. But this is going to go off the glass as we just about to hit the halfway marker.
Yeah, wow, John, a couple of huge chances, certainly the best chances of the period for the Bruins, as it looked like Pastrnak was really teed up to score right there. But Vladar answers with the left pad. Makes a great save there. Looks like he may have gotten a piece with the trapper as well. Then the puck goes out of play. So Flames able to get a break here, try to collect themselves and maintain some of the momentum that they've built.
And how about that for Pasta? 3 goals, 8 points in the last 4 games. So, I mean, you got to think about the production all the way across the lineup, especially when you have Patrice Bergeron and Brad Marchand. That's an embarrassment of riches, and that's why they're 11-2. Charlie Coyle will try to pick this one back up. Now, going to hold off the backhand as Quill. Now working on his forehand as he gets a pass across. And picked up by the Flames defense. Nikita Zadorov, Noah Hanifin. Lewis tries to get the breakout. This is going to bounce back to him off the Bruins skate off Coyle. And good work there by Frederick, but he's going to knock it in the players' bench and get another stoppage.
Yeah, John, I will say since the goal that was given up by the Flames in the first period, I don't have the hard numbers to back this up as we hit the commercial break. I have not seen a lot of Dennis Gilbert or Nick DeSimone anymore. Have you?
I have not.
I think we're getting, and you mentioned it because of his solid play so far in this contest. You mentioned arguably the Flames' best defender, Rasmus Andersson. He has gotten a lot more ice time, it seems, and rightfully so. He's the sharpest blue liner for Calgary tonight, and he's looked at. He's really made some nice plays.
Look, it's one of those situations, Cooper. I know I'm about to make an obvious statement, but where Rasmus Andersson, where he probably ranks among Calgary Flames defensemen, but on a game-by-game basis, especially as important as this is, you got to go with the eye test, and you got to go with the best players that are giving you the most on the ice, don't you?
Yeah, I think so. And listen, we are certainly not the same level of hockey mind or minds that Daryl Sutter and his staff are, but the eye test showed it. I don't think that Gilbert or DeSimone were prepared for the play when the Bruins scored. They didn't seem to be aware of where the Bruins were on the ice, where the threats were coming from, and therefore weren't able to move into the right position, not only to stop the initial shot that became the rebound that Connor Clifton put in for the Bruins' only goal. And so the result is, the ice time decreases. Those are things that can be worked on. Players that don't see a lot of game action and are being called up out of necessity. And listen, I'm not saying that that's their level of play forever. You know, they are going to improve their young players who are going to get more experience. But right now, Daryl Sutter has to make a call. And, he's rolling primarily with 4 defenders. And I think that's the right call to make when you're playing a team this good.
And it's a big week right now, Cooper, because I see every other couple of days it's Winnipeg next, and then the LA Kings, Tampa, and the Florida Panthers all upcoming here for the Calgary Flames. So if you want to try to make some inroads on the road, that's where you got to do it.
Absolutely. And so we get back to action here. Face-off coming at the center dot.
So face-off upcoming here. This one is won with the body side of it, picked up by Mackenzie Weegar. As the Flames have possession, Andrew Mangiapane will have this now. As this gets dumped down, picked up by the Boston Bruins momentarily before Mikael Backlund gets this now, and Trevor Lewis. Lewis will get this down deep, but it's 2-on-1 here for the Boston Bruins as they collect here with Charlie Coyle as we've hit the 9:05 marker, really the second period. Nice backhanded effort there by Nick Foligno as he's going to try to buy some time. Open pass there for Smith, but he's still going to skate. Picked up now by the Bruins. And Zedel is he's going to throw this one on to Vladar. It gets blocker to side and then picked up now by the Calgary Flames. Here's a potential break, but Allmark's going to negate this one. I'm not sure who that was for the Calgary Flames. I had a chance to get a shot as the possession time is about even at 15-15 between both sides right now as we are past the halfway point of a 1-1 game in the second period. John Ryder with you. Cooper Hopkins and play-by-play and color respectively as we're watching this one at TD Garden in Boston. And again, Vladar will come on his goal crease to play this one. Picked up by the Flames. Good outlet off the backhand. Rasmus Anderson will watch that go by as Tyler Toffoli has to absorb a hit. Picked up near the right side faceoff dot by Elias Lindholm. Tyler Toffoli is the lone forechecker there as Calgary has to watch it back on the Boston Bruins side of the logo. This could be a 3-on-3. Here's a chance for Marchand off the back pass. This is bounced in between Milan Lucic. I don't even think it hit Vladar. And now there was some body contact near the right side dot in the glass. So we get a stoppage with 7:58 in the second.
Yeah, John. So this continues. Other than the commercial breaks, this has been a pretty fast-moving period, and it's really been a Flames period. And actually, as we're checking our Sportsnet feed here, it looks like we are going to get a penalty called. I think we're getting a high stick. Although, John, I'll admit I'm not sure which team this is going against.
I think this might go against the Bruins, but I didn't see it myself. Question mark?
We're getting some replays here. Yes, Toffoli is the on the receiving end of a high stick. It's gonna be Grillchick. Is that right for the Boston Bruins?
Yeah, Matt Grzelcyk is going to go to the box for cross-checking here. If you hear a momentary barking dog, I apologize. Hopefully through the play-by-play that doesn't read all the way through. As this is picked up now by Rasmus Anderson. Rasmus Anderson now to Nazem Kadri. Anderson can't hold that line because it was good forechecking there by Trent Frederick as he knocked that one around. Allmark will play this now with the goal stick as the Bruins will safely clear down the ice as this goes right to Dan Vladar. He thought about the long outstretched pass, but instead he's going to give this one to Rasmus Anderson. It'll go left and right across your radio dial. About 7:25 left to go in the second period. We're still tied at 1. This has been a chance where you thought there could have been a lot more goals. Tyler Toffoli back to Rasmus Anderson in the high slot. This goes to Nazem Kadri now near the right dot. Kadri holds. Looks for a straight out in front. And Calgary thought they scored. And that's why I wanted to hold because I'm not quite sure myself. This play is still underway. I'm not giving a definitive call just yet. I did see hands in the air. Kadri. This one goes all the way back. And the Bruins will clear this one. So when we get another look from the Sportsnet feed, Cooper and I can relay to you what we think we might have just saw there. So Dylan Dubé off the forehand side is Backlund. He's going to put this one in. Dubé gets absorbed a hit by Connor Clifton. Mangiapane in there as well as Pavel Zacha will get this one around. This is intercepted by Mackenzie Weegar. Nice play, but he got to hold the puck at Dylan Dubé. He does off the backhand. Gives it to Michael Backlund. Now Dylan Dubé near the left side red line. Back to Backlund. He plays it in between his legs. Able to buy some space. And now we finally get a stoppage with 6:24. Hopefully they show us that replay, Cooper.
Yeah, John, we're going to get it right here. So it's Rasmus Anderson to Kadri. Kadri in the left circle. A beautiful set play. Ruzicka deflects that one across. So it goes Kadri, Ruzicka to Toffoli. Toffoli had his arms in the air, John, because he was in absolute disbelief that he did not score. Literally the entire cage was open. At minimum, it should be 2-1 Flames right now, but with some of the chances they've had, John, it could be 4-1 right now.
And
we're still tied.
That's one of those situations where it actually did go off the goal stick of Linus Ullmark. That's absolutely incredible and a great design play and an even better save. As we're back underneath the action now, 6:15 in the second, about 15 seconds left to go on the Calgary power play. That's been pretty good, if not for Ullmark there. But here come the Flames as they delay and wait around the left side face-off dot, and they'll go back on the other side as Mangiapane lost it. Bruins able to kill some time here. Charlie Coyle, as they're going to get back to even strength. He's going to spin around the B. Picked up now by Trent Frederick. Did he get tripped against the Flames is the question. The Flames are going to be going to the box. This could be Mackenzie Weegar.
Yeah, John, we're in a very dangerous spot for the Flames. That was a pretty clear trip right there. Mackenzie Weegar getting reckless with the stick, takes out the left skate, and he will sit. And I'm very nervous right now as a follower of the Flames, a fan of the Calgary Flames. I think what we could be looking at here is a spot where the Bruins are going to jump on the throats of Calgary after really having a miraculous paddle save by Ullmark, which you pointed out so beautifully. Now, at this point, with the game still tied and the Bruins about to take a man advantage, you would think they are primed to get the go-ahead goal in this game, don't you think?
Yeah, and as you just said, you pointed out there with Weegar, I didn't think it was a particularly dangerous situation that even warranted a stick check like that. Now, we have to see whether or not Calgary is going to be able to kill this penalty because the last Boston power play looked pretty damn good.
Yes, it did. I know we have to break right now, but the Flames need to get some credit. They are taking on one of the very best teams in the National Hockey League, and they are up to the task. It hasn't looked perfect. There have been moments that have been clunky, kind of for lack of a better term there. But Dan Vladar has been pretty solid all night long. The Flames have created scoring chances. They've looked good on the power play. I would say they've looked better with the man advantage than they have at 5-on-5. But the 5-on-5 play hasn't been, it hasn't been a desert for them. They've still shown some skill. They've still shown that they're competent. But I think they've missed some opportunities here to make this game 2-1 or even 3-1. And the Boston Bruins, the more time you give them, the more likely it's going to be, especially at home, that they are going to take advantage.
Yeah, I certainly think the needle might be pointing that way. Again, the power play, again, is going to tell us a lot, Cooper and myself especially, where this game is going to go next. Because, again, it's been a pretty good game here for Calgary. It was a great first period. It's been a second period that's been all about the Flames, has it not?
No, it certainly has. And the Flames are going to be up to the task, I would hope, of killing this penalty. We'll see what they can do here as the faceoff's won by Boston.
So Boston will have possession now off their power plays. Mackenzie Weegar goes to the box. Fake slap pass there by Pastrnak. This one goes up on a play, and Calgary's got a chance to right the sins there of a defensive zone draw loss and get one and get it out.
Yeah, I think that's the key, John. I mean, pretty obvious stuff for hockey fans out there. It's just game possession, clear, rinse, repeat. That's what Calgary's looking for.
Yeah, you have to do that, especially with this kind of team. You can't give any quarter here for Boston right now because they'll definitely take it. They have the record they have because of reasons like that. So picked up now by Lewis is the backhand. Fortunately for Lewis, bounced right back to him toward the red line side, and David Pastrnak will just slam this one off the slap shot. Get another possession here for Boston as this is rattled around some legs, and Rasmus Anderson will do the same, but he can't get it out. Good keep in there by DeBrusk. Marchand plays this one for Bergeron. Marchand's got it now. Marchand picks this up by David Krejci. Marchand, here's a chance for Pastrnak, and that was a sizzler of a wrist shot, but then went off the little blocker side. David Krejci's got it now near the left side faceoff dot as he holds. Pastrnak, Marchand, Krejci now. This one played in between his legs. That looked like a design setup there, but they couldn't hold it. Jake DeBrusk will get this now for David Krejci. Here's a chance for Pastrnak. Into the screen, that one goes just wide. Marchand calmly plays this ahead, and Elias Lindholm does the job as Calgary can take their changes. That looked partially dangerous there with some of those slap passes there, but David Krejci could not hold the puck. But now here comes Taylor Hall. Right to left across your radio dial. He gets the pass across and gets this one back in behind the cage as this is worked in there by Lindholm. and this is not kept in by Boston. So good job there by Calgary to get some pressure there as Pastrnak still weaving his way into the neutral zone now for Nick Foligno. He's going to put this near an open right side red line. Calgary try to get it out again, but they cannot. David Pastrnak sets this one back up off the cross pass. It's loose out in front. Vladar makes one save. His bodies are everywhere. And we have a hand in the air right now. I think this is going to go against Calgary as soon as the puck gets touched. I think I've seen a penalty call at least. As it is one now. Boston still has possession, so that penalty's been killed. But unfortunately for Calgary, they're going to have to do so again with some tired bodies on the ice. Hampus Lindholm has it now as he plays the pass across there between Foligno. Shot right in the slot there for Hall. Got deflected, picked up by the Flames now. They can finally touch, but they're going back to the box.
Yeah, John, I'm actually going to say it's fortunate that the Flames didn't get possession right away right there, or else it would have been a 5-on-3 for about 20 seconds. I think that the Flames should be, I mean, listen, do you want to be pleased when you're taking back-to-back penalties against the Boston Bruins? Absolutely not. But at least it's going to be a 5-on-4 again with no time at 5-on-3. And you made some excellent calls there. As we see the replays here on Sportsnet side, Dan Vladar flicking out the right pad, making a save. And then walking in was a Boston Bruin, and it could be 2-1 Boston. But here we go again. It's another penalty kill for Calgary.
If you want to use those Flames puns, you're playing with fire here. How many times are you going to go ahead and give Boston Bruins their power play? This is their fourth. They got 6 shots right now. Brad Marchand going to take his time in behind the cage of Ullmark because he's going to look to break out now. Here comes DeBrusk. DeBrusk picks this one off the pass, extra pass here, nicely played. Slap shot set up, what a stop by Vladar, but it's loose out in front. The Flames are just trying to fall on this right now as the play is still live. It's brushed aside with the glove. This goes right back to David Krejci, extra pass, and Vladar finds it and holds a beat. Wow.
Wow, indeed. I mean, now let's take a look at this. DeBrusk very, very gingerly goes back to the bench. He is doubled over in pain. I'm not sure what happened there, but he looks a little worse for wear on the Bruins bench. But my goodness, the Flames doing everything that they can. I mean, literally, we're talking about 2, not 1, 2 players diving on the puck down in front to freeze play. Vladar ended up covering, and now we're back in action.
So Pastrnak will pick this one up now with Taylor Hall. He gets knocked down pretty hard there by Mackenzie Wiegers. They're still trying to do battle. This goes back to Boston. Fake pass between the legs by Krejci. Sets up Marchand, goes back to Krejci. They try to throw this one between Bergeron in the middle of the slot, and now picked up by Boston. Krejci can settle this down in the high slot. Slapper, that goes intentionally wide. Picked up now by Krejci again in the high slot. Looking for the slapper for Hall. Hall's going to hold now. 50 seconds left to go. Pastrnak through the screen. Good block there by Mackenzie Weegar. Pastrnak throws this one out in front. This goes to Marchand near the right circle. Fake the slapper as Krejci as he continues to skate. Calgary looks really tired right now, as you would expect, trying to kill back-to-back penalties. They just got to survive another 30 seconds. What a setup out in front of Bergeron. Puts his head up in the air as he can't believe he didn't score that one. As this one goes all the way back in the Boston zone. Calgary needs to make some quick changes because here comes Marchand again. McAvoy will get this one in deep. Picked up now by Nick Foligno. Off the backhand side. This is picked up now by McAvoy. Crisscross. I think the Brusk got in the wrong part of the direction there toward the right dot as there was just a mass there. And the penalty is killed, but Boston's got possession now as Hampus Lindholm. Pavelski, they score! 1:33 left in the second, and it felt like a matter of time, and that might be Charlie McAvoy's goal.
John, I think it is Charlie McAvoy. Welcome back, Chucky. I can't believe it. He has made a difference as we expected that he would, something we said in the first period. The penalty was killed, but McAvoy possessed the puck not far from the blue line, and he absolutely snipes over the glove of Dan Vladar. What a great job. I want to give credit to Mackenzie Weegar. I want to say that puck was sniped over the blocker as well of Dan Vladar, who barely saw the shot. But it would have been 2-1 much earlier if it had not been for the play of Mackenzie Weegar on that penalty kill, who blocked not 1 but 2 shots in a sequence. But McAvoy says, I'll take care of this. It's 2-1 Boston after an absolute rocket.
That was an absolute crazy sequence of play, and that honestly felt like I was doing a playoff call there momentarily. That was a lot of fun. I know it is between the two teams, but That's the type of play that you want to see. But Calgary can absolutely not take any more penalties here right now. That's what's kind of biting them right now.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a stoppage in play, and I mean, I actually love that you mentioned a playoff reaction there, John, because the fans in this building, I think every player wearing black and yellow and every fan in the TD Garden can feel the momentum building in favor of the Bruins, and McAvoy makes it 2-1.
So Charlie Coyle will get this neutral zone draw. McAvoy, again, he just made his return. He's already got his first goal of the season. So Boston was dealing with some injuries, and they're still 12, 11, and 2 on the season. So this could be something where they're trying to get and peak at the right time, and they've already done so early. Here they have a chance at the backhand again as Hall will collect. Picked up now by Connor Clifton as he's able to dangle through pass across. What a save by Vladar with a goal stick as he got Pasternak. Now here's another chance for Boston as they've been buzzing all over the place. Connor Clifton will collect. He'll try to pick this one back up. Boston now still trying to work with this as Calgary gets this through the neutral zone, but again, winded bodies. And I think we have an no, we don't. Excuse me. 30 seconds left to go in the second as I heard some inadvertent whistles. And now we finally get one with 31 seconds.
Yeah, John, I mean, what a finish to this second period. Boston gets a ton of credit. And Vladar, I think, did get a piece of the goal stick, the shaft of the goal stick on that one. Ultimately, the shot was a little wide, and it hit the side netting there, or else it'd be 3-1 Boston. But this is, John, we're going to be talking about this in the second intermission as well. The Flames have the run of play for 80% of this period, and then all of a sudden, it's Boston. And that's due to penalties taken at, well, never want to take a penalty, but at really poorly timed mistakes, and then just allowing high-skilled players to do what they do best, not closing down space. 31 seconds to go here in the second. Let's see what the Flames can do.
Yeah, it's been this game in a nutshell right now. This is Kadri against Pavel Zacha, picked up now by the Flames, although it's busy and behind the goal crease of Vladar. They're going to have to take this face-off again with 26.8.
Yeah, my goodness. I mean, what must Dan Vladar think here? I mean, he had to scramble all over the place in the first period, then does everything that he can to keep his team at least tied here after the Flames missed multiple golden scoring opportunities. I mean, we're looking at a 2-1 Boston score right now. It could be 3 or 4-2 Calgary. Just what a crazy last few minutes.
Elias Lindholm now going to try to win the defensive zone draw. He cannot, so Boston going to get some more puck possession before the end of the second. Blocker to side there by Vladar, but a huge rebound. Try to get picked up now by Matt Grizzly because the last shot was from Charlie McAvoy, who was the latest goal scorer right now. Make it 2-1 Boston. Calgary with one last rush as this gets bounced in between some Boston bodies. This will get cleared safely, and Nikita Zadorov and the Calgary Flames are going to go to the dressing room down 2-1 after 2.
Yeah, this can't feel good for the visitors. I mean, this is a tough one to watch. Gerald Sutter looks a little nonplussed right now. I think that Boston would probably love to be up more than they are, but hey, we're rightfully seeing some replays of the Flames' missed opportunities to grab a lead in this game. And ultimately, after back-to-back penalties, now, of course, they were both technically killed, but in the seconds after the second kill in a row for the Flames, Charlie McAvoy takes that shot through traffic from way out, and it finds the top corner, and he's back. He's back in a big way and has the Boston Bruins ahead in this game 2-1 as we head to the second intermission.
So I know you kind of alluded to it, Cooper, but give me your thoughts. I mean, a stretch of play might have been, I'll give Boston a little credit in the sense of 70-30 through most of this game, but how do you make the ebbs and flows, and what can Calgary do to kind of correct that, to swing that more in their favor so it's not so substantial one way for, let's say, 4 or 5 minutes in a period at a given time?
You know, if I had a clear answer, I'd probably be earning a lot of money as a coach in the NHL. I would absolutely start sending resumes out because I feel like a genius. I don't know if anyone has a clear answer for that. I mean, I think what has to be said, and listen, this is partially recency bias. Of course, you're looking at a 5-game losing streak. It's the longest losing streak for the Flames in a couple of years, well, more than a couple of years. I think it was early in the 2019 season when they lost, I believe it was 6 games in a row. So we don't want to go back to those times. But I also think about a few years ago, and even last year when you had players like Johnny Gaudreau on the ice for Calgary, who is one of the best playmakers in the game. And it just seems right now that that factor is missing for Calgary. I don't know if, and Huberdeau's not on the ice tonight. I understand. But even when he had been on the ice, he wasn't facilitating to the level of Flame. And I will say it, he's, a Flames great, Johnny Gaudreau.
Right.
And I think that Brad Treliving still gets all the credit in the world for rebuilding this roster on the fly. To use hockey's own reference, doing that on the fly is not always easy and not always successful. And I think success will come, but I'm not sure, John. I mean, if you know, please tell me, because then I'll be a little less panicked, like we talked about in the first intermission. But I'm just not sure where that facilitation is going to come from. A top line or second line facilitator that's making difficult passes, really seeing the play, seeing the ice well, and finding teammates for clutch opportunities. There have been some of that tonight, but it's almost like an engine that won't start. You hear it wanting to turn over. You see it wanting to fire up, but it just doesn't seem to with any consistency. Or it'll fire up for a minute, and then that engine dies, and I'm not sure who's gonna be the fuel to keep that thing running.
So, question here for me then, Cooper, because again, I put you on the spot there a little bit, but where would you put Oliver Shillington in the depth chart as far as when he comes back?
Yeah, I mean, it's what we're looking at right now is we have Uyghur paired with Tanev, we have Hannafin with Anderson, and then basically two replacement defensemen in DeSimone and Gilbert right now. So what I would expect is probably Shillington to step in and shore up the third pairing with whomever he's with. If Michael Stone comes back from injury, you'd expect to see Michael Stone. But I think that Oliver Shillington, when we're talking about facilitation and playmaking, he's absolutely being missed. Also, Rasmus Anderson has been able to do that throughout his career and has done a little less of that this season. So it's just a tough one, John. I hope that Shillington will be back. Obviously, he's dealing with a personal situation, and there aren't a ton of details around that. We absolutely wish him the best. But a potential playmaker like that, you know what I'm saying? That's what's needed. And I'm not sure if it's going to be from him or one of the forwards who's in the lineup at this time, or if it's got to be somebody else who gets an opportunity. The Flames can't find, I'm going to say, at minimum, an overtime point in this game, regardless of the fact that the Bruins are incredibly good. I think we're going to continue to see changes. I'm just not sure if there's any other way for Daryl Sutter and his group to go.
Because I guess that's kind of where I'm going to. And you picked up my point in the sense of, I think, honestly, you could talk about Huberdeau. Again, I know he's not in there tonight, but I'm not really concerned about the Ruzicka, Toffoli, all that other stuff. I'm more concerned about the flotation a little bit of the backhand side of it, considering, again, no Stone, no Shillington, no Tanev. I think that hurts the team a lot more than some of the other forward stuff. So I think when that finally gets settled, Calgary will be able to get back to being the team that we expect them to be, because those are just pieces that you can't replace.
It's true, and you make a good point, and I didn't mean to misspeak. Tanev is not on the ice tonight. He's dealing with his own situation, but typically, and he's not expected to be out for an extended period. He is typically paired up with Uyghur. But, I think that because of the injuries, because of the inconsistencies with the lineup, and some of those, this is what the concern has been with fans. This is what we talked about, or at least referenced a little while ago in the first intermission. Some of those changes, some of the problems seem to be self-inflicted. There was some changing by Daryl Sutter. Again, the most obvious example is Milan Lucic, who is a hardworking player. He's still in this league for a reason. He has skill. He has a presence on the ice. But is he a second-line winger? Probably not. That seems to be the going opinion about Milan Lucic. He spent multiple games as a second-line winger. The success didn't come. The Flames have been getting good production in games that we called from players like Brett Ritchie and Mike Coleman. That line was then broken up, and players were moved up and down the lineup. Elias Lindholm has been underperforming this year. I think that he, of all people, this is what we mentioned a few games ago when we were covering the Flames. I think he is very obviously the top candidate to be missing his former line mates, Matthew Tkachuk and Johnny Gaudreau. So it's just a case of multiple players trying to find their footing. It's the same system, but it's a system that's being executed with different parts. And, maybe it was just a classic case of beginner's luck early in the season where you throw this mix of players out on the ice and they have belief that they're a top team and they played like that. And for whatever reason, John, it was in the middle of a homestand when things started to turn for the Flames. Maybe they got complacent. Maybe it was just missing some of their teammates who were having injury issues. It could be a little of everything, kitchen sink. But the same problems seem to be plaguing the Flames in this game against the Boston Bruins.
And I'm not saying this either because I'm your friend and all that stuff, but that would kind of hurt my heart a little bit if you see that going into the homestand or the end of it and they don't figure out a way to figure this out, because it seems like, again, I understand Brad Treliving, as you said, had to build this team on the fly, but they're way too good. Again, this Boston game aside, this is just something for you and I to keep a measuring stick on. But when it goes back to the teams that you should be beating, you can't lose to Nashville. You can't lose to Seattle. You can't drop certain points like that where Calgary kind of shot themselves in the foot. Look, I understand, and it's the same thing for both of us. Both of our teams got destroyed by New Jersey and Buffalo. But when you think about that, those are teams that you probably should end up beating. So Calgary's got to figure this out, but I do think when it gets back to those back-end issues more than anything else, and Jonathan Huberdeau, he's got a long way to go on his contract, so maybe it's a down year for Huberdeau. I'm not going to project anything. But once that back end gets fixed, I think Calgary can jumpstart everything and get going, because you have to have stable back end play to be able to get the puck entries, get the puck out, do what you want to do, get the play moving forward to your forwards. And when you don't have that, and when you've seen some of the careless mistakes that we've seen over some of the stuff, even in the highlights, even in the games that we haven't called, that's why Calgary's in the spot that they are.
Yeah, and you know what? I like that you touched on strategy just a little bit right there, John. I mean, we're talking about zone entries, right? We're talking about exiting your own end after competently dispossessing your opponent from the puck or collecting a dump in, right, and then moving the puck back up ice and making the offensive push. I wonder, you know what? You spoke almost kind of you spoke in a really subtle way about what could potentially be an issue just with the Flames forwards and their confidence. I'm not saying they don't believe in the ability of their teammates on the blue line. I just wonder if they're holding back a little bit. There's a little bit of hesitancy to really fully commit to a breakout or feel like they can get up to full speed, because there's concern about whether or not they're going to need to come back and check someone off the puck or be available for a shorter pass, maybe less of a risky pass that they were used to connecting in seasons prior. So you made a really good observation. That was honestly a fantastic thought. I'm glad you shared that, because that could be a big piece of it too. If forwards just not feeling like the door is fully open for them to really break out on the offensive rush side of things.
That's what I feel like we might be seeing a little bit. But again, I'm not trying to stem this all in one game between Boston. We're all trying to use this as a microcosm for the season so far. But we talked about in our previous intermission part of it, in the sense of the panic index game, you had a level of 8 there for Calgary. I think mine might be a 5 or a 6. But I still think, as you said, with the Pacific side and the wild card, there is nobody taking control of that in the Western Conference right now. So Calgary, at this point, as the road stand, as we talked about in the schedule, they'll need to dig their heels in a little bit and get going. Because right now they're in a decent spot, considering no one else is kind of taking the reins.
Yeah, it's true, and actually that leads me to kind of a classic intermission thought right here. I might just bounce around the league. I might just update our folks on some of the scores here, because all of these games that started at 4 p.m. Eastern are basically at the end of the second period now. So let's take a quick peek. Just starting the third period are, guess who? The Detroit Red Wings. They're on a power play, in fact, and the game is currently tied as the Rangers are visiting Hockey Town. So 2-2 is your score. The Islanders and the Coyotes are tied at 0 about halfway through the second period. The Blues and the Sharks, they are tied at 1 after 1. The Devils are in the second intermission. They just went up late, 3-2 against the Ottawa Senators. Vegas Golden Knights are leading the Sabres 3-2, also in the second intermission. The Hurricanes are having their way with the Edmonton Oilers right now. After 2, it's 4-1 Carolina. 3-1 your current score, the Columbus Blue Jackets and the Philadelphia Flyers. And then, of course, that brings us back to Boston, Massachusetts, where John Ott and Cooper Hopkins here covering your contest between the Flames visiting the Bruins. And like I keep repeating, John, you know what? It could have been a multiple-goal lead for the Flames. They had some golden opportunities on the man advantage in the second period, could not convert. And guess what? If you're going to leave it that way with the Boston Bruins and a team that's that skilled, they're going to make you pay, and that's exactly what Charlie McAvoy did, which is why it's 2-1.
Yeah, and I saw that they showed on the Sportsnet feed while we were talking. They're 9-0 Boston Bruins when Charlie McAvoy scores a goal. So there you go, right there. And the one thing I want to mention from yesterday when I covered the Panthers and Hurricanes, when the Panthers got a 3-0 win over Carolina, and Rod Brendamore immediately said we need to flush this game down the toilet and start again. Boy, they are giving the Oilers everything right now with a 4-1 lead in the third.
Yeah, they certainly are, and that's not something I hate to see, but you never know. This is what we talked about. We've covered plenty of Oilers games. I mean, anyone who even pays partial attention to hockey knows that the Oilers and their top line can turn things around in a hurry, but the Hurricanes also a pretty dang good team. You would think that they would be able to close that game out. Does that sound right to you?
Absolutely. When you give them a lead, I always call Carolina the vice grip team. They don't give it up.
Yep, absolutely. Well, unless you're the Calgary Flames from about 3 weeks ago or so.
Yeah, you're
that's
right on
one of
that.
the exceptions. But boy, where has that team gone? That's what John and I have been talking about during this break. We got to get them back, John. Wherever they are, we got to find them.
It's like we said many times when we watch this stuff, and again, I appreciate doing this game with you because it's two really high-quality teams that we expect to make the playoffs and do some damage. Then we have this one circled on the calendar. But those fits and starts, that's got to be so frustrating for Calgary Flames fans because I can see it too when I'm watching this game. I feel like I'm watching a really good team. I don't feel like I'm watching a team that's 5-5-2.
Yeah, and it seems to be it's a couple turns of this screw, a turn of this wrench. It feels like tinkering is all it's going to take. I mean, I know that's easier said than done, and
Right.
I think that's what Daryl Sutter's been trying to do. I mean, let's make no mistake about it. By no means is this man who's won multiple Stanley Cup championships and almost took the Flames to their second Stanley Cup championship in 2004. Of course, he's not just arbitrarily throwing players around on a whiteboard and mixing his lines up for fun, especially after the start that they had. But you know what? Some of it was necessitated by injury, as we talked about. Some of it has been necessitated just by quiet play from players that were expected to really be loud and get on the score sheet early and often. That has been a tough position for Daryl to be in. But Flames fans have to know that this is a team that can make noise in the regular season and into the playoffs. I think it's just about finding the right mix. And John, you made the beautiful point that the ingredients just keep changing. It's got to be hard to put the recipe together when it's different every day.
Yeah, I think you hit it perfectly there. I don't think there's anything else that needs to be said. And that's why I'm a little bit lower on the panic index because I see it in front of it. I think Calgary can do it, but winning this game today or even getting a point. But you know what? I'm just going to flat out say it right now, Cooper. Winning this game can do something to kind of change a little bit of the story here for Calgary Flames early. Go ahead and get a strong third period. Stop taking penalties and just get your shots on and be confident.
Yeah, absolutely. There's really nothing else to do. I think it'll be interesting as the third period goes on. We talked about this with Gilbert and DeSimone getting a little less ice time on the defensive side of things for the Flames. Let's keep an eye on who is getting ice time. That's been a comment from some fans as well, being surprised to see players like Lewis and Ritchie getting additional ice time and even some power play opportunities. And again, the reasoning behind that, I have to believe, is what I just described. Daryl Sutter's potential mindset there, trying to find the right mix of players at the right time. But that'll be something I keep an eye on here in the third period, John, as the Flames make their way back out to the ice to get set for period number 3. Let's see who gets more opportunities, who Daryl Sutter trusts to get this game tied, and hopefully a go-ahead goal as well.
You want to finish this game out, Cooper?
Well, here's the interesting thing, John. I have about 45 minutes left before I have to jump off, even though, of course, I'm the one who started the Twitter space. So I think we should be good. I think we'll probably just be able to sneak this in, but let's do it this way. The reason I say that, why don't I jump on the call, as you're suggesting, just for the first portion of this third period, and if I have to hand it off, there's no one better to hand it off to than you, my friend.
All right, man, let's do it.
Excellent. Yeah, we're getting some great replays here on the Sportsnet side. I was going to mention this, and now it feels like I'm just saying it because I'm seeing it on the feed here. But, Tyler Toffoli, even though he's missed a couple of open nets, he's had a really good game. I've liked his presence so far. He is someone who's maybe gotten some unfair criticism. A lot of Flames fans aren't sure that he's really a top-line winger. I am inclined to agree with them, although I believe he has the ability to make a top-line impact. We'll see. We'll see what happens here in this third period. I think he's been around it all night, and John, I know you'll keep an eye on him, as I will as well. I think he, more than anybody, is going to want to put one in the back of the net because he's been right there.
Yeah, and especially I want to see, too, I know it's a different name, but Milan Lucic against his former team.
Absolutely. There's no question about that. He even gave a couple of fist bumps to some younger fans wearing Bruins jerseys. Even those kids recognized the impact that he made on this franchise, and he's also made an impact with the Flames now as well, and is also a big member of the Flames community, helping out in Calgary as this third period face-off at center ice is won by the Flames. Blake Coleman carries in and fires off of the stick blade of a Bruins defender up into the netting. So very quickly, play is whistled down.
So Boston's outscored their opponents 20-7 in the third period. So that's something that Calgary's got to note. Again, I think after from this first and second, these stops and starts have got to stop, and they got to stay out of the penalty box here if they want to get a chance to even this game.
Yep, I agree, John. And Nazem Kadri does what he does best right there, wins a face-off, but the puck on the fresh sheet of ice slides just past his teammates and onto the stick right now of Charlie Coyle, who carries in with some speed, although he's pushed off the puck there by, I believe, Noah Hannafin. Yes, indeed, that is the goal scorer for the Flames. Now carrying in and shooting wide is Trent Frederick. First time we've mentioned him tonight, but there was a golden opportunity to make it 3-1. That shot goes begging well wide of Vladar's net. Now the Flames come back on a 2-on-2, carried in by Dubé. Dubé with a shot right on. Looked like there was a rebound, but doing an excellent job there as he has really all night long. Linus Ullmark, calm, cool, and collected, freezes it in the trapper with the 37 seconds gone here in the third.
So we'll see what ends up happening now, but it was a good chance the other way. And for Boston, I think they're feeling pretty good right now. Ullmark's played well. Vladar's played well. We've had some really good goaltending on both sides. And if it wasn't for that, Cooper, this scoreline would be much different.
That's true. And the Bruins have to feel good about closing down Dubé there. He did get a really well-placed shot off, but it was through both defenders. They made it back in time. So the Bruins doing a nice job of recovering there as the Flames tried to make an early push here. It's 2-1 Boston, 22-21 on the shot clock after that Dubé attempt right there. And we have 19-10 to go here in the third period. So lots of time, lots of real estate for these teams to work with. And the Flames are going to need it more than the Bruins do right now as they are down by 1. So the stretch pass attempt by the Flames is just too long for Elias Lindholm. But the Flames get the puck back right away and will chip this one in from center ice. It's collected there, first in the glove, and then down to his stick by Connor Clifton. He's a goal scorer tonight. And the Boston Bruins will take this puck out of their own zone through neutral ice, flick it right on to Dan Vladar, who turns it aside into the far corner to his right, where the Flames will take over. So there's a nice 45-degree stretch pass right there. On his backhand, Andrew Mangiapane sends that one into the trapezoid. Playing the puck is Ullmark. And Mangiapane, with a nice shift so far, puts a shoulder into the glass and stops the clearing attempt. Mangiapane now fighting in the corner for possession, unable to come away with it, but I like the effort there. Now coming back 2-on-2 are the Bruins. Puck gets lost in the skates of number 71, Taylor Hall, former Devils man. He, as John said earlier, such a big player on that second line for this Bruins team. And had he kept possession of the puck cleanly right there, you know he's going to let that one go. Unable to do so now, now the Bruins carry back in with 2 minutes elapsed here in the third period. Batting the puck out of the air are the Flames, and it's on to Milan Lucic's stick. That's somebody John just mentioned for us to keep an eye on, or if you're listening to, just trust us. We'll tell you what he does as he just runs into Brandon Carlo right there against the end board. So Milan Lucic doing what he does best, putting a shoulder into his opponent. Now we have a delayed penalty call. I think it's going to be against Boston as the Flames had the puck, and we got gloves dropped, John, right in front of Olmark. We got haymakers being thrown by, I think that's Kevin Rooney, and I can't see between the stripes of the referees who he's fighting. John, I think that's Nick Foligno. So Rooney and Foligno dropped gloves right in front of Olmark. They knocked the netting off the boring, and we got ourselves a hockey game.
There we go. This is what we wanted to see right now. Unfortunately for Kevin Rooney, he got stuck in between part of the post. As Nick Foligno is a big boy there, he was feeding him some fists. That was a good scrap that we had for a few seconds.
Boy, Nick Foligno seems to have gotten the better of that exchange, but Rooney must have gotten a shot right onto his eyebrow. Foligno, that is. As Foligno skates to the penalty box for 5 minutes, he's got a little blood coming off of that left eyebrow. So Rooney may have taken more shots, but he pinpointed him with one. And now we're going to get 2 minutes. I think Bergeron and Zadorov have collected near a referee to get an explanation. And John, what are we seeing here? So we have Foligno in the box along with, I believe, Brandon Carlo for the Bruins. Is that correct? Are you seeing that as well?
That's what we got right now. I believe is offsetting. And yeah, I'm still looking over that cut over Foligno's eye right now.
Yeah, and he is just jawing at Kevin Rooney. So Foligno looking to his right and yapping at Kevin Rooney. None too pleased with the Flames' fourth line center, who I believe, I think Foligno took exception to Rooney putting Tomasz Nosek in the boards. And again, John, you're the expert because he was a Red Wing. Am I getting that last name correct?
Yeah, Tomasz Nosek.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, he looked a little woozy coming off the ice after Rooney. It looked to be a clean hit. Didn't seem to be a charge from behind. But Nosek did go into the end boards and is now on the players' bench. Didn't have to go to the room, fortunately. But, okay, so here we go. We're updating. We have multiple players in the box. Carlo is back out on the ice. It looks like Taylor Hall and Foligno are the two in the box for the Bruins. So we'll try to clarify that as we continue here. The faceoff's won by the Flames. No matter what, the Flames do have a man advantage here. I think this is their fourth of the evening. Actually, might be their fifth as they have the partial power play in the second period. So 15 seconds have elapsed on the man advantage. 17-15 to go here in the third period. Flames down by one. Ruzicka trying to hold possession there on the near boards. He's able to do so. It bounces off of Calgary, goes back to Rasmus Anderson. That pass is weak and picked up by the Bruins, and Anderson can't keep a bouncing puck in. Now, Anderson can't keep his skates either, just barely stays up as he skates back to his own end. Could have been a disaster if he would have blown a tire there, as the Bruins would have been in on a complete, clear breakaway. So Rasmus Anderson just holds his balance and prevents penalty-killing scoring opportunity for Boston. Flames trying to gather themselves here. Now Rasmus Anderson still on the ice, has the puck at the right point, and this pass is intercepted. Coming back the other way are the Bruins, 2-on-2. John, it's the Bruins now with momentum, even though they're down a man, and their pass back to the right point is a little too far, and they'll clear it all the way down to Dan Vladar. So basically the entire penalty so far has been a positive for the Bruins, even though they're the ones down on the ice. So Calgary trying to just hold possession here, can't do so. 90 seconds have gone in the power play. John, inauspicious man advantage here for Calgary unless something changes in the next 25 seconds, as Noah Hanifin will start this breakout. 4 minutes and 10 seconds have gone here in the third. Nikita Zadorov has the puck on his backhand, flicks this one down behind Olmark. It's picked up and out in front and leaps past the post. The Flames should have tied it, but the puck just bounces wide, and there's a shot on. It bounces off the net, and it's to the left of Olmark, so the Flames, with the dying seconds of the man advantage, nearly tie it. John, that's been one of the stories of the night, how close the Flames have come. They've missed so many opportunities now. It's still 2-1 Boston. 15-20 to go here in the third. 22 shots apiece. What can we say? We have an icing right now, John. I'm going to let you jump in on that. I can't believe the Flames didn't tie this hockey game.
Yeah, they seemed like they were able to get a gift there as they went right out in front. Somehow weren't able to get a piece of it. And as you said, we talked about it a little bit in our intermissions. There were some passes there for Calgary I thought were a little too forced, and especially when you have Bergeron and Marchand on the penalty kill, you cannot make those mistakes. But man, that was a backhand there for Dylan Dubé that should have beat Allmark. It did not. It's still 2-1.
Yeah, and Dylan Dubé, I want to say he didn't really have a chance to get a full shot off, but he did have that puck on his backhand, and it did flutter wide. Boy, the best opportunity of this period, most certainly for the Flames, as now, for the first time in an entire period, I'm saying Gilbert's name. He's on the ice, blue liner for the Flames. The Boston Bruins are able to pick up possession. They will clear out. Here comes Pasta. He's up against the young defender, and a huge save made by Dan Vladar. DeSimone was just undressed by David Pastrnak, and Dan Vladar answers big time. Boy, oh boy, John, you're going to have to share some thoughts on that one. I can't believe number 88 didn't make it 3-1. But here come the Flames the other way from the top of the circle. Elias Lindholm fires a slapper, and it's saved by Ullmark, and I have to stop talking just so I can breathe.
Man, we just talked about that between Gilbert and DeSimone. What's it going to be like when they get immediate ice time? They get thrown in the fire there as Pastrnak made him look silly off that deke move. That was a hell of a save by Vladar. That was the L1 button with the deke move with all the actives going across. And good outlet pass from Toffoli, but Lindholm with a slap shot. Ullmark saw it all the way, and we could take our breath. But that was a great move by Pastrnak and an even better save by Vladar.
Absolutely. The latter portion of your comment cannot be truer. Dan Vladar with a massive A1, A-plus save. David Pastrnak looked like he was stick handling around a traffic cone. That was incredible. I mean, listen, DeSimone's a Calgary Flame, and I love the Calgary Flames. My gosh, David Pastrnak, tip of the cap, my friend. Now here comes a shot through traffic, snagged by Ullmark as he takes a seat. And he flashed the leather. Ruzicka looks skyward. Oh, my gosh. It's going back and forth, John Ott.
You are getting the play of the action now. What a flashy glove save there by Ullmark. He almost gets overpowered, able to get that one from a distance. So, again, the same prescription theory, fire shots on Ruzicka. That was a heater from distance. Great save by Ullmark.
Wow. You can see even in slow motion, you get a better look at just the torque on that stick shaft. And he fired a mid-level wrister to the glove side, and Ullmark answers. My gosh. The leather being flashed tonight by Vladar and Ullmark, so impressive as the puck is now out in front. It's on the Bruins sticks. 3 Flames converge, and now they're going to skate it out the other way. Here comes Dubé, who had the power play scoring opportunity not too long ago. 13:45 here in the third. 25 shots Calgary, 23 Boston. The Bruins with the lead, as they have had for a while now, as a bouncing puck goes right through the blue paint. And the Calgary Flames have trouble clearing. It's guess who? DeSimone out on the ice with Gilbert. I'm a little surprised to see them out once more. I think that Daryl Sutter might be well served to go down to 4 defensemen in this game. My gosh, I don't mean to beat them up too much, but things have gone south for the Flames when they have been on the ice, as the Flames trying to send it down now for a deflection attempt. But the puck never makes it to Backlund, who was parked in front of Ullmark. So 7 minutes gone here in the third. 2-on-2 the other way for the Bruins. Puck held right there and skated back to the blue line, where the Bruins try to maintain possession and will do so in the near corner. Flames battling for the puck there, including Nikita Zadorov. Lucic is on the ice right now. Nice pass right there, and a huge check. Oh my gosh, I think it's Weegar who just put his shoulder into potentially Charlie Coyle there. No, I'm sorry, maybe that Pavel Saka. He got dropped, and now the Flames with a shot attempt. Mangiapane fell to the ice at the other end. Now the Flames try to center it from the near corner. My gosh, John, we got all sorts of action here, including physicality. We got the fight. We got power play action. We got the Bruins looking good on the penalty kill, and now the Flames, with 12:19 on the clock, have possession. They'll try to break out from their own end. And here comes Ruzicka, who had a great wrister just about a minute ago. So he's near the half boards on this near side. He's dispossessed, but the puck goes to Gilbert, now to DeSimone. He fires that one off the end boards to essentially no one, though it's picked up by Elias Lindholm. Gets it to Toffoli. Toffoli fires, and the 5-hole save is made, and the puck is shot right on again. The Flames firing at will, but guess who stands in their way? It's Ullmark. Ullmark is answering every single time. John, I got to get a break here in a second, man. This is crazy action, and no matter who takes this game, we have had ourselves a fantastic contest. A player goes down right there for the Flames. That looked like DeSimone being hooked down, maybe tripped. And are we going to get a penalty here, John?
Yes, we are. Boston's going to the box, slapping their stick on the ice. Opportunity for Calgary.
Wow, this is incredible stuff, and I hope I'm not overselling these moments, but
You're
this
not.
is really turning into an exciting one. And Carlo, with just a foolish play off of the puck, although I will say DeSimone did have possession. But Carlo did not need to make that play. He had help back, and he just blatantly trips DeSimone down. So after this commercial break, it's going to be yet another power play for the Flames. And I think at this point, John, even though there's still more than 10 minutes to go in the third, doesn't it feel like the Flames almost have to score here?
I think you hit it. They have to score here. The play has been with the Bruins, especially. I'm not going to pick on the third-line defensive side. We mentioned it a little bit. It's going to be a game every other day here for the Flames over the next foreseeable. So the third line is going to have to get some time, whether or not you'd like 4 guys on defense to run out there. So Flames got to score. They got to figure out a way to at least get a point in this and move on.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do want to make it clear, really, if only for myself and you than anyone else, I truly don't mean to pick on Gilbert and DeSimone unnecessarily. Listen, they're NHL caliber players. They're in the lineup for a reason. And part of that reason is what John and I talked about during the second intermission.
Yes.
That's injuries. And they have been called upon to make as big an impact as they possibly can. Unfortunately, it has not been a stellar night for either of those blue liners. But that's not to say that they can't make a difference here just by being solid and focusing on fundamentals, even if it's just to spell some of their teammates, if it's to give Weegar, if it's to give Anderson, if it's to give the top 4 a little bit of a breather, that's more than enough. I mean, if they can just hold their own, I think that's all Daryl Sutter can ask for at this point.
No, I think you said everything correctly. Nobody's picking on these guys. That's what Calgary needs right now. That's where their depth is at when they're missing some of their pieces. So when they're on the ice, they have to just make the right plays and make them at the right time and don't try to get too big. But right now, this is a game that's within a goal. We got about half a third period left to go, and hopefully you can stay all the way through here, Cooper, because it's definitely heated up again.
Yeah, I certainly hope that I can. I'll say it again. If necessary, I'll be more than happy to hand off for you and to be able to listen to your call to get the end of this thing. But, hey, we're still here together. John Ott and Cooper Hopkins on the call. 2-1 Boston with 11:30 to go here in the third period. Puck on Tyler Toffoli's stick, and it's deflected by Adam Ruzicka. Ruzicka with a great opportunity here on another power play for the Flames. They've had so many tonight, and as we were just saying during the break, they've got to convert here. Puck now held by Rasmus Andersson. It's to the right wall. Held near the top of the circle. Nice dancing right there as the puck's sent back to Andersson. Andersson holds, fires. It's loose in front. The puck bounces off of a stick, and Ullmark couldn't find it. 90 seconds to go here in the man advantage for Calgary. Puck's passed across. Toffoli looked to shoot, but held. Goes back to Andersson. Now across the ice. Finds Kadri. Good ozone time here on the power play for the Flames, and down low, the shot is saved by Ullmark, and Andersson will have to collect back near the spoked wheel at center ice. So 1 minute and 5 seconds to go here. Now 30 shots for the Flames, and they've really turned up the shot attempts over the past 3 or 4 minutes. About 10 minutes and 30 seconds to go here in the third. The Flames fighting for possession in the near corner. Kadri down there. He's being pushed around by Connor Clifton. The Flames will hold the puck, though. It bounces to the near half boards, picked up there by Tyler Toffoli, where it's 73 on his back, goes to Kadri. Kadri from a tough angle looked to go far post, and it goes wide and will skitter all the way down to the Flames' end of the ice. Oh, I'm literally taking a deep breath right now, John. We've got so much action here in this game at TD Garden. John Ott from Michigan, Cooper Hopkins from the state of California, and the Flames and Boston Bruins in Massachusetts right now battling in a big way. The Bruins with the lead, the Flames with the man advantage, and the Bruins with the clear. So just 15 seconds to go here in the power play. Inside 10 minutes to go in the contest. The Flames will carry this one through neutral ice and dump in. It's just to the right of the goaltender Olmark, he will paddle it down and the Bruins will clear out. So the penalty has expired for the Bruins. The Flames will continue to hold possession here as Michael Backlund tries to bank a pass to Mangiapane. It's unsuccessful, and Backlund gets it right back near the Bruins players' bench, tries to chip in, but has to retreat to Nikita Zadorov, who now flicks this one forward. Now back to the Flames end. Flames doing a good job here to maintain possession after the man advantage. 9:05 to go in the third. With the puck now is Brett Ritchie. Milan Lucic, former Bruin, on the ice. That was a player that John asked us to keep an eye on. He's got the puck right now, tries to center, and Ritchie almost had a shot attempt. Now Zadorov stick handling. He gets pushed off the puck and is able to keep it in. There's a slacker from Ritchie, but I think he breaks the stick. No, he just whiffed on that one, and the 15-mile-per-hour shot trickled to the Bruins, where they are able to clear. Now Lucic is still on the ice. He gets checked hard by Clifton, but stays on his feet. How do you keep his balance there, John? 8:30 to go now in the third. My wife's home with a salad. I know what my night looks like after this game, but I'm excited to be here with you, my friend. This is a great contest, and the Flames, if nothing else, John, and a huge check and drop near the boards. I think that was Kevin Rooney who got a little retribution right there from Trent Frederick. Frederick put Rooney down on his backside, and the Bruins hold possession now with 8 to go. John, I was just saying this has been such a great contest. If nothing else, the Flames, unless something drastically changes, even if they take the L, as the kids like to say these days, the Flames have to be at least heartened by their play here in this third period.
They're keeping it going, but they got to be able to finish it off. And they got plenty of time to do so.
They certainly do. Thanks for jumping in on that as play is still live here. Tyler Toffoli's been very visible all night long, fighting for possession near the scorer's booth in between the penalty boxes. I keep mentioning the time because we've really had a flowing third period here. Just 7 minutes and 30 seconds to go now. Bruins with possession. They haven't had a ton of possession over the last 10 minutes or so. And Toffoli takes it as he'll skate off for a change, but not before he leaves it for Ruzicka. Ruzicka tried to get a shot off. It's 1-on-4 until some help comes. Now Ruzicka will go off for a change. The Flames still have the puck in the offensive zone, though. So here comes Trevor Lewis, wearing deuce on his jersey. He was looking to grab the pass from Elias Lindholm, but couldn't get to it before it was chased down by Boston. And the Flames will collect in their own end, cross-ice pass from defenseman Nikita Zadorov. Nikita Zadorov, former Colorado Avalanche man. And Backlund on the ice now, putting some pressure on Olmark. The clearing attempt by the Bruins is whiffed, and Backlund able to pick up the puck momentarily until he's bodied off, and the Bruins try to clear again. Now the Flames get a shot on. It's saved by the blocker of Linus Olmark, and it's deflected along by Mackenzie Weegar. So now 6:30 to go, 31 shots for the Flames, 23 for the Bruins. Boston does hold the advantage where it matters, though. It's 2-1 home team. So the Flames looking for the change here. Olmark has the puck in the trapezoid behind his net. Dylan Dubé on the forecheck. But the puck bounces to neutral ice here, and Dubé now has it again, but I believe Kadri was just a step offside. So for the first time in a while, John, we have a whistle, and play has stopped. Boy, what a third period, huh?
Yeah, this has been a crazy one, and that one might have just hit the bar almost from Ruzicka. Did that get deflected and right on there? Is you're just getting a play stoppage?
I think so. I got the same look that you did. I think we may have just grazed the post right there, or the crossbar, as you said. That's the second time at minimum that's happened for the Flames tonight. They have been all around it, but just haven't been able to convert. And this is like what we were saying in the second intermission, John. If we knew exactly what to say, or we knew the answer to the question, what's it going to take for these Flames to finally finish off an opportunity, I mean, we'd be getting paid the big bucks, my friend. But I don't know if either of us have a clear answer for that. They've been so close, but just haven't been able to put the finishing touches on.
Yeah, see, I know the lifelong fan for you for this team, but I'm watching Calgary, and I just get frustrated sometimes with some of this because I see it's there. They're playing Boston to the best of their ability. Okay, there was a couple stretch passes there. Maybe they could have hit back a little bit that was missed or vice versa. But just those little plays, if they get turned around, Calgary could be in a much different position in this score line. But again, I do think we have to mention Dan Vladar and Linus Olmark. These guys have been fantastic in this game. And this game has been really good, even though it's 2-1.
Yeah, it's been really good. I mean, I like to see the Flames holding possession, not only in the man advantage, which is what's expected. That's basically almost at a minimum what you should be seeing from a team who's up on the ice. But the Flames have struggled in these latter halves of periods. Is that not right, John?
Yeah.
You get through the first 10 minutes or so, and I think that applies to the first period. I think it applies to the second. But what's different about this third period is now we are only about, I think we have 7 and change to go in regulation. We'll see if the Flames are able to tie it. But they have looked solid throughout the first portion and beyond in this third period.
Yeah, they have. They just need to get a definitive result on the score sheet here. It's 6:13 left to go in the third. This really is anyone's contest. It's just up to the Flames. Again, I understand they want to work some stuff on the outside and get some shots on, but maybe they'll have to take an extra couple minutes here, Cooper, find a couple slot opportunities. That's what they're hoping for to tie this up.
I think so. Yeah, they're inclined to shoot from anywhere, but I think not making the extra pass, but just making that first pass, trying to find traffic down low is usually a recipe for success. And we'll see what we get here as Nazem Kadri loses this face-off in the neutral zone. It's picked up by Boston, although it's taken by the Calgary Flames right here. Another check. That's Kevin Rooney. Don't make it Blake. Oh my gosh, I think that's Blake Coleman. Yes, he was checked down by Craig Smith. So Boston, making no mistake, they're putting the body on right now in this third period, trying to hold on to this lead and walk away with yet another victory in the season. So 5:48 to go here in the third period. I was incorrect during the break. I thought we had a little more time, but that's the way this game has gone. It's really flown by, and that's credit to both of these teams. A lot of skill on display and a lot of action. Nazem Kadri now down low behind Omar trying to forecheck, but the Bruins will comfortably pass this one out as they make a nice tic-tac-toe play there. And coming up the ice is Clifton. He's been fleet of foot tonight and has put a goal in for Boston as he makes a shot attempt that goes wide of Vladar. Vladar has not been called into action too much over the past 10 minutes or so, but this one bounces over his cage. It's out in front right there. Nice stick handling by Ruzicka, but his pass attempt is off of the stick blade of Noah Hannafin. So unfortunately for the Flames, they have to cycle back and try to clear once more. Hannafin has the puck again, who will just shuttle this one along. Ruzicka tried to put a shoulder into Charlie McAvoy. McAvoy avoids the hit. Under 5 minutes to go here, still 2-1 Boston, 31-23 on the shot board in favor of Calgary. Elias Lindholm on the ice, fighting for the puck. He gets danced right there by Patrice Bergeron. There's a shot attempt that goes wide of Vladar's net. And Bergeron out in front for the tic-tac-toe triangle passing play. That last piece wasn't connected, John. I was stumbling right there, expecting to make a goal call. That's how pretty those passes were. Now we're down to 4:20 left to go in this game as the puck bounces through. And it looks like someone was appealing for a high stick attempt, but no call on the ice. And chasing down the puck there is Brett Ritchie. But now Brett Ritchie takes over, unable to hold on to the puck. I thought he was going to have a shot opportunity right in the center of the slot, but he couldn't find it on his stick, and the puck eventually was pushed out to neutral ice by Boston. Milan Lucic back onto the ice for the Flames, trying to chase this one down in the near corner. A man goes down for the Bruins. Looked dangerous there, and I think we're going to have a whistle. I'm not sure if some Flames were involved, but this appears to be bad for Calgary as one of the Bruins went down hard against the boards in the corner.
Yeah, I don't know if they got tripped there by Lucic or there's been big hits all over the place. We're getting another look at this right now. That didn't look too good. Lindholm took a seat, and we went to a break.
Yeah, based on what I'm seeing from that Sportsnet replay, the closest to the man who went down for Boston was Brett Ritchie, the fourth-line winger for Calgary. He may have gotten his stick down in the skates, sending his opponent to the ice. And apologies, didn't get a number on that man who hit the boards hard. Luckily, it doesn't seem to be an injury, but it does look like an ill-timed power play for the Boston Bruins if you're a Flames fan.
I was just going to say this, but now because of the penalty, I have to kind of change the narrative. But on the play before that, it certainly seemed like when Ritchie was able to get that steal, that Coleman or someone else could have tried to step up and get that puck, but they were afraid of a break coming the other way. But at some point, if you're Calgary, I think you got to go for it. And now with this penalty kill, that's going to kind of snuff that out for the next 2 minutes.
Yeah, no, John, I think we have a few seconds here left in this break. I want to ask you kind of a specific question.
Yeah.
There was some noise early in the season about the Flames and the makeup of their lines, the players that they lost, the skill that exited, and then the skill that came in, thanks to Brad Living. There was some rumors, I don't know if they were substantiated, but some thoughts about whether Patty Kane would be a fit for the Flames. In a game like this, do you think Patrick Kane is a piece that would be the difference maker for the Flames, or do you think that this score would still be 2-1 Boston?
I know that's a name that we talked about before in some of our broadcasts, and I'd have to feel like that's the kind of jolt in the arm that Calgary's looking for. I'd say yes.
Yeah, you'd have to think that his level of skill and finishing ability would be a key in a game like this that's been so closely contested. And, credit to guys like Ruzicka stepping in, credit to players like Toffoli who've been around it and making a difference all night. But that finishing ability just hasn't been there tonight. And against elite teams like Boston, you got to have somebody who just smells the blood and goes in for the kill. And so that's what the Flames are going to have to do here, literally penalty killing, as Dan Vladar sees the puck shot in by Pastrnak from the left point, and the save is made. So stoppage and play here, John, and in no uncertain terms, the Flames have to kill this penalty and immediately get back on their toes and try to find a scoring chance.
They do, because when you're just talking about previous game breakers, it's David Pastrnak right now with the Boston power play.
Absolutely. So just a few seconds have elapsed here in the man advantage. 2-1 Boston, 3:50 to go here in the third period. Boston wins the faceoff cleanly. It's passed over to the top of the right circle. This one's knocked around Vladar's net. It's at the near half boards. And passed to the faceoff dot. Deflected shot attempt goes well wide of Vladar's net. And this one's passed across. Holding are the Bruins. It's bouncing in front. Vladar is deep in his net right there. Great opportunity, but no shot on. And now right there are the Bruins. It's Marchand, and the shot comes from Pastrnak from distance once again. And that one is gloved and saved. Pastrnak with a wry smile on his face. I think he wants to make this 3-1, don't you, John?
He's got some serious heat on that slapper, and I see that wry smile. Yeah, definitely. He's the guy that I'm looking for on this power play if I'm Boston.
Yeah, this has been a very powerful power play in no uncertain terms for the Boston Bruins as they set themselves up right here for another slapper, and it's stopped by Dan Vladar. So all of a sudden has had to make multiple saves. David Krejci, who is a big presence for this Boston team, he almost makes it 3-1. I mean, all of these Bruins on this first power play unit have been all over it.
And their power play hasn't scored, but it is one of those situations where we haven't think that hasn't been good. They've been excellent.
Yes, they have, and at last, the Flames win a defensive zone draw, and Rasmus Andersson is able to clear this puck all the way back down to Ullmark. So 3 minutes to go in the third period, 1:10 to go here in the power play for the Bruins. And I think this is actually going to be an icing, John. A stretch pass attempt was not connected, and the Flames will have one of the rare offensive zone draws while a man down.
Yeah, it's been one of the situations where they've actually been good tonight on the face-off side of it. It's for at least a couple of them, it says 36-18, but it seems like those offensive zone draws they need to win. They win those, but the neutral zone ones they don't.
That seems to be the case so far. Now we have fewer than 3 minutes to go here in the third period. Changes for the Bruins as they carry in right here. 55 seconds to go on their man advantage. Now the puck is on Blake Coleman's stick. He tries to backhand that one over to Dylan Dubin. He'll make that Trevor Lewis. But no matter, as the puck bounces to the Bruins in their own end, and they will take their time, bringing this one through neutral ice. And now the pass attempt to the Blue Liners is unsuccessful. Ullmark has to collect. He leaves for Charlie McAvoy, who is the reason that the Bruins lead this game 2-1. He sniped that second goal for the Boston Bruins in the second period, and the Flames doing a better job of penalty killing right here. They collect all around the puck and send this one bouncing down to Ullmark, where none other than Andrew Mangiapane picks up. So he's got a couple Bruins on his back. He's kneeling on the puck and killing time. Great job right there on the forecheck by number 88 for the Flames. 2 minutes to go now in the third period. 5 seconds to go in the power play. The Bruins do have possession. It's held right there by Charlie McAvoy. He sends it back to Taylor Hall. Now it's in the corner, and the backhand pass goes back to Hall, but Hall can't hold it, and the penalty has been killed by Calgary. So 1:45 to go. The puck is on Richie's stick. It's over to Tyler Toffoli. Toffoli carries in the backhand. The puck is loose. It's right next to the post, and how many times can Toffoli be right there and be denied? It's another one, John. Put a tally up on the board. Toffoli has been everywhere, So less than 90 seconds to go now. 32 shots, Flames, 26 Bruins. Empty net now for the Flames as Vladar heads back to the bench. Changes for both teams. Rasmus Anderson picks up. It's to Nazem Kadri, the Stanley Cup winner from last year with the Avalanche. Been a big difference maker in this season for the Flames. Can he be tonight? He has a minute, as the rest of his teammates do, to tie this game. It's back on Kadri's stick. Flames with 6 men on the ice. Hanifin has the puck near the blue line. And Rasmus Anderson back to Hanifin. Over to Kadri. Kadri in the left circle. Will he shoot? That puck is fired on. And it's deflected off the glove of Linus Ullmark. 47 seconds to go. Flames doing an excellent job holding possession. There's the Kadri. Hanifin with the shot. That one bounces harmlessly off of a skate, and this should do it. The Bruins now have a clear shot at the empty nets. It's a stick down. It's carried in beautifully by David Pastrnak.
Oh, man.
He drafts that pass out of mid-air, John, and stick handles around a diving defender and just deposits the puck in the empty net. The Flames' heart's broken. My gosh, it's 3-1 Boston.
I didn't mean to step on you at all on that, but David Pastrnak, oh my goodness. And that's just an empty netter.
I first of all, I'm getting the replay here on the Sportsnet side, John. Tyler Toffoli did absolutely everything he could in this game to get his team ahead, to get his team tied, to keep his team in it. He takes that puck from the wall down to the blue paint, and it is stopped on the initial shot by Ullmark, and it frankly should have been deposited on the rebound by Brett Ritchie, but it went wide. And then David Pastrnak, that is a Sports Center play right there, even though it was an empty netter. And now with 15 seconds to play, the Flames are down 3-1, and Vladar is back in net. He will make a save right there, but with 8 seconds to go, it won't matter. 5 seconds now as the Flames hold the puck in their own end, and your final score, ladies and gentlemen, will be 3-1. Boston takes the victory at home against, I will say, a somewhat resurgent Calgary Flames team. They were a little inconsistent in periods 1 and 2, John, but you have to give them credit. I know there are no moral victories, but the Flames looked like a team that was the equal of the Boston Bruins. Unfortunately, due to just excellent play, some bad puck luck, fantastic goaltending from Ullmark, and my gosh, a ton of skill from David Pastrnak on the empty netter. Your final is 3-1, and the Flames go down.
Yeah, because I think the look from that we just got from Daryl Sutter says it all in the sense of what you just talked about. I'm not throwing this narrative out there now because it's early in the season and no one's taking control in the Pacific and the wild card's open and all that. But how many more games will Brad Treliving wait? Again, you're still waiting for defense and everyone else to get healthy. Tyler Toffoli was all over the doorstep, like he said. That should have been a goal. It just went off the outside of the left post of Ullmark. But how many more good games is Brad Treliving going to wait before he's going to decide he's going to pull the trigger right now and add something on offense? Because all Calgary needed, you hit it a few minutes ago, it just needed a little bit of finishing in this game because they were right there. They really didn't play a bad game against Boston. Again, no moral victories. They need to stop some of those stops and starts, and if we had the answers to that, again, we'd be making a lot of money. That's got to get cleaned up. But man, oh man, you got to be able to score a little bit when you get some of those golden opportunities. Calgary is going to be kicking themselves a little bit.
Yeah, I think so, John. You know, I certainly want to give you a tip of the cap. I had a lot of fun doing our panic meter during the first intermission. It's fun to think about those things, and I know I gave you the answer of number 8 on the scale of 1 to 10, meaning a pretty high level of panic for the Flames and their fans. I know that you came back, you sort of counter-offered with a 5. You know what? I think after tonight we might have to split the difference. I think we're going to.
I think so.
Let's call it a 6.5.
Yeah.
You know, I think being above 500 would push that number a lot closer to where you were. Unfortunately, the Flames were unable to finish tonight. It's truly just that goal scoring and that elite finishing that's needed at this level that the Flames are missing right now, and now they're below 500. And you know, it's tough to say, but the panic meter, that needle's still moving.
Yeah, it's moving. It's going to be effervescent just like it is throughout the season. And I also got to say thank you because you also stopped me from having to watch the Wings go into the third period 2-2 and then lose 8-2.
Oh my goodness! I'm just checking that on my Scores app, and yeah, you're welcome, my friend. You know, I could see the future, John, and I was willing to bite the bullet and watch my Flames lose to one of the best teams in the league. And it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make for you because I care about you, John, and I don't want you to have to go through that pain.
I appreciate that, man. This was a lot of fun, and we'll catch back up next week because I know I'll be busy through this weekend, and so will you. So I'm glad we're able to circle this one on the calendar. And I know it's not going to be too long before Calgary plays Florida. Just making a chance to watch Kachuk and all that stuff too. That might be our next one, but I got to look at the date again.
Yes, indeed. No, we'll take a look at the calendar. Obviously, there are going to be some fun games to call, and we'll be on plenty of them. Thanks for jumping in last minute. I'm glad we could do this, and enjoy the weekend, and we'll get back on the microphones very soon. Thanks for calling the game with me, John.
Thank you, man. I'll see you next week.
Okay. Adios.